Act. And it also provides clear specifications and regulations as to how to go about registering all of them. I believe he has already discussed in detail some of these things, so I don't take so much of our time on it. So lesson 4, we'll be talking now about the small company distinguished from private company limited by shares. Generally speaking, companies as we used to know it involved all kinds of private company. In terms of, when we talk of private company, it meant both small and large companies. However, with the passage of the new law, we now have a distinction between what you now call a private company and what we now know as a small company. So there's a distinction. So you can have a company and it's now regarded as small, and another company, private company, is now regarded as private company, so-called. So, and in the past, it's good by way of background to understand that in the past, a small company was regarded as, or a small company, within Nigerian context, was regarded as a company that had a turnover of just about 2 million annually, and a net asset of at least $1 million. So if you were around that threshold prior to August 2020, you were regarded as a small company, but as a small company. But now that has been broadened, as it were, or expanded to now capture a wider spectrum of companies, and that now will take the threshold a bit higher, as we will see. So one of the innovations in CAMA 2020 is that it separates a small company from a private company. Interestingly, the basis for this separation is on the following grounds. So as per 2020 CAMA, the threshold, like I mentioned, was initially 2 million, and for assets, just $1 million. But now a small company is now known as any company with annual turnover, which annual turnover is less than 120 million naira, and net assets not more than 60 million naira. So now, if you have turnover that's less than 120 million, interestingly, and assets that's less than 60 million, you are now regarded as a small company. So it's important for the purpose of corporate governance that we understand this, because in the subsequent issues we'll be talking about in the subsequent slides, you would find that the new CAMA makes some allowances for small company. It makes allowances for small company, exceptions for small company as to do you need to have a secretary? Do you need to have a certain number of directors? Can one person as a shareholder register a private company within the definition of a small company? So all of this has tremendous implication, including, of course, can a company that's regarded as a small company registered by just one person, is there any need for you to have meetings? So you'd need to ask yourself, can one person have a meeting with himself, really? So that is important to understand, and to now know that some of these rules ordinarily by law are no longer in themselves mandatory for some of them. I would say very few actually are no longer mandatory, and we'll come to that, no longer mandatory for small company. But at the same time, you now would understand that much more than whether or not it's applicable to you is that, is it desirable, is it prudent for you to have these systems in place, and what is the benefits of having them in place, notwithstanding the fact that you are ordinarily not mandated to do that. So another feature is that once a company has a threshold of turnover of 120 million or 60 million or less, of course, less than that, is a small company. Or in addition to that, if none of its members is an alien, none of the members, that is, none of the owners of the company or shareholders, as it were, shareholders properly so called, is an alien. None of its members is a government or government corporation or agency or its nominee. And in the case of a company having share capital, the directors between themselves hold at least 51% of its equity share capital. So if all of these conditions are met, then it now means that your company is a small company. And there are specific provisions that do not apply, and other provisions, of course, generally apply. But this is what it means to have a small company within the context of the Nigerian law as it stands today. So we'll now look at the other issue of governing organs of a company. So small company in any company is any company which we have talked about, and the critical organs of a company, be it small, like I mentioned just now, or private company. So private company will not mean any company that is that has a net a turnover of above 120 million, net asset, of course, of above 60 million, is now a private company. And the critical organs of the companies now, generally speaking, be it small, private, or public, as follows. It has a board of directors. So all companies by law must have a board of directors. It's required, it's desirable. The board of directors plays a critical role in ensuring good governance practice within a company. Results from a survey conducted by Leap Africa in 2006 confirms that boards and corporate governance practices in Nigeria are still largely underdeveloped. 75% of companies surveyed claim to have boards, but only 55% have a functional and active board. You also have the second organ that we have, aside from the board of directors, is that the need for statutory meetings. So held, but this requirement, like you will find in section 235, relates only to public companies. So section 235 of CAMA mandates public companies to hold statutory meetings 6 months, actually, after, not more than 6 months after incorporation. And by the way, I believe Barrister Ita talked on this, but just for the benefit of doubt, for probably those just joining us, it'd be important to know that public companies are the companies that are registered as public companies. One, and of course, they also have the right to issue for the public shares within the stock market. So these are the companies that are regarded as public companies. So for instance, you're talking of Unilever PLC, you're talking of Nestle, you're talking of Guinness, all of them are public companies because they are, of course, quoted on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. So in addition to statutory meetings, they also have general meeting. Now, this relates to all company, or they are to hold 15 months after incorporation. And of course, between one annual general meeting to another, they are expected to hold a general meeting. So this includes, at least captures all of the companies. So no one is exempted from it. So 15 months after incorporation, like I mentioned, for public companies, 6 months statutory meeting. But for the other meetings, for the other companies, including public companies, 15 months after each annual general meeting, an AGM is to be held year after year, as it were. So 15-month cycle, you will need to now hold an AGM. So whatever class you fall in, private or public or even small. Please note that by section 240 sub 2 of CAMA, meetings can now be held virtually. And I think this is very instructive. It's very important that we consider this in terms of what we do. In that, for now, as the law stands, in the past, it was not recognized. So you couldn't have meetings like this and call it an annual general meeting by law. Thankfully, with all of this innovation, we now find that a company can hold an annual general meeting virtually. The implication of that for your business, specifically speaking now, for some of you that may want to follow through on some of these things, is that you can now get people to be on your board, assuming you're going to form a board, and we'll come to that shortly. And you're thinking of people, oh, so and so probably is abroad, so and so. There's certain people I want to reach out to support my business. I like how they go carry on their business. They're my mentors. They are people that they will add value and all of that. And I like to hear from them from time to time. It's important to know that that can now be made possible virtually. So regardless of their race, some of them you might not have the resources to bring them down probably to Lagos or wherever you reside. Notwithstanding, you can now have these meetings virtually. So this is cost saving. This is a massive innovation, and it's something that we should leverage on. Yeah. Okay, so businesses to be transacted at the annual general meeting. I mentioned earlier that 15 months after each AGM, another AGM is to be held. So it will be important to also know that that relates to all companies. So regardless of whatever space you play in, rather, even if it's small, it's private, it's public, whatever it is, the law is that you are to hold an AGM. And by having an AGM, some of the things you will declare really will be declaring dividend, presentation of financial statement, reports of directors and auditors, election of directors in the place of those retiring, the appointment, fixing of remuneration of the auditors, appointment of members of the audit committee, disclosure of remuneration of the managers of the company. So these are essentially the issues that are discussed at an AGM. So it might be that, okay, you're saying to yourself, probably somebody sitting and listening and thinking to himself, oh, I don't have all of this. I am playing small, I'm just starting, of course. But these are important things that you take into consideration to know, okay, at least every 15 months, you need to sit down with your team, even if it's just a team of 1 or 2 people, and look at all of these issues. And you'll find that, or even though you're playing within a small space, at least at the outset, is that once you discipline yourself to begin to relate within this benchmark, it will help you to coordinate your business. And like I mentioned before, it's important to know all of these things that Apple did and many of the big corporations that we admire today, they are things that they started while they were just a team of 2, 3. So there's no harm in as much as possible abiding by this disciplined approach of doing what you should do, regardless of the size or the space you play in. So all of the issues that we're mentioning now, if you abide by them in the long term, it will show. So regardless of whether or not you are 1, 2, a team of 3 or 10 or 100 or 150 or 1,000 or whatever number, you are able to sit each 15 months to ask yourself about the dividends. You go through your financial books, a presentation of financial statement reports. You have, of course, you're a director there, and understand if you can, of course, get an auditor, and you should. Really. So it mustn't be the big players. It mustn't be PwC. It mustn't be the big guys. So it might be people, probably your friends, your relatives, people within your network. They are qualified as auditors. They could help you go through and all of that. So election of directors in the place of those retiring, the appointment and fixing of remuneration, so of auditors. So all of these issues are important, and they are to be as much as possible dealt with at the AGM. So another issue we'll have now is the issue of the necessity for the board. So we usually in our line of business, we would find many people talking about, why do I need a board? A board is unnecessary. A board is for the big companies. A board is not my kind of space. I don't have the resources for board. So you find lots of excuses for people that don't want to have a board of directors, and in their mind, it's just an unnecessary luxury. But in this part of our discourse, we'll now talk on some of the things that is important and the reasons why you need to consider seriously getting a board beyond just appointment of the first directors at the point of incorporation. That's where most people stop. So you just you instruct your lawyers, register this company, and you probably yourself and your husband or your sibling are directors or your friend, and that is all. You understand? So the company starts making money or starts going into one kind of arrangement or the other, and that is all. So it ends there. There's no further thoughts to, oh, how does this board function? How can we make this company more effective? And that is very key. So essentially, at the start of your organization, it's important that you determine for yourself the kind of organization you want. So if you want something for yourself and your family, then there's no need to worry about a board, quite frankly. So if you want something that will outlive you, you certainly need a board. So there's this link I attached to that, to be forwarded. The slide will be forwarded to each one of you. So that's an article I read on Forbes about 2 weeks ago, or about a week ago. It tries to draw a comparison between cycling, the game of cycling, and startup, really. So now most of us look at the boards and say, oh wow, the necessity for boards, where do I start from? Who are the people to come on my board? Who are the people that what should I look out for in getting other people to be appointed as directors, and all of that. So that article points to the fact that what you look out for essentially as a startup is this, that you look at people that have gone ahead. Some people have recorded tremendous success in what they are doing. It might be in your industry, it might be in your field, it might be your mentors, it might be people that are within your space that you think would add value. And just before we it escapes my mind, I'd like to just quickly mention that in the context of a board of directors meeting, it's ideal that they meet just probably 3 or 4 times in a year. That's what the law provides. So, so at least every quarter, as it were. So you have meetings. So let's say maximum of 4 meetings. If you would, each year. You could have much more than that, but probably so that for strategic reasons, so that you don't bore them, because some of these directors, they're coming on board, you actually cannot afford their fee. Probably some are coming because of the relationship you have with them. And these are big players in wherever they might be playing, and they might not be on ground all the time. So they could just spare you an hour or 2 hours, like we're having this kind of meeting. Sometimes, thankfully for the purpose of this new provision in CAMA, wherever they might be in any part of the world, you could have virtual meetings. So they need not come. So if we're looking at all of this together, you'll not find that it's important that you take your time and reflect on the people that you need to form part of your board. So the article also mentions the fact that, of course, for cycling, for instance, the coaches that you have are people that have most likely have done the game of cycling before at one stage or the other. Some are, of course, champions in what they do. So imagine you now have people that have, of course, they have gone out there, they've done stuff, they've broken new grounds, new terrain. You're not making them directors on your board. Of course, that would naturally mean they will come with that wealth of experience, that exposure, their network, and all of that. That's that expertise. So that will greatly enrich your experience. In our line of work, we find so many entrepreneurs, and we have a client, one of our biggest clients actually, and I'm not saying this to spite him, but we love and respect him. That initially, when we started, he would give us instructions. Oh, register so and so company for me, register so and so company for me. So within a space of 2 years, we realized something quite interesting, that we probably had registered up to between 5 to 8 companies. I'm just trying to be as exact as I can. So it could be more, you understand? He had registered that much. And what we found was that essentially some of them are not entirely necessary. And you'll find if you dig deep, it's an issue of the processes, it's an issue of the structure, it's an issue of corporate governance failure, in that you don't need to have that many companies. Sometimes 2, 3 vibrant, robust companies, well governed with sound corporate governance systems and structures, can solve that problem. So you find situations where so many people in this part of the world are excited about being called serial entrepreneurs. So today we're registering a new company. 6 months down the line or 3 months down the line, that has folded up, we're starting a new one and all of that. And the same problem, they keep going in circles, in that they just feel is by moving from one company to the other. Essentially with 1, 2, 3 companies, well structured, most of these things can be done. So at the point we realized he had one of the out registered for him had over 30 people, and one up north, I think somewhere in Abuja. And because of the failure of corporate governance, because everything revolves around him, you understand, all the decisions, critical decisions, he's not accountable to anyone. There are no meetings like we're talking about. Most of the people around are essentially people who are employees of the company, so or workers, as it were. So now they naturally would not have that kind of vision to propel and to drive the goals of the company. What they do is follow the instructions. And because there was no opportunity for all these kind of things we're talking about, AGMs, this kind of meetings, where people call to account, where people make presentations and all of that, because that was not there, he would naturally would have to make decisions alone, or probably with his family, and probably with staff. And because there was no those kind of robust debate, those kind of cross-fertilization of ideas by people who are more experienced and people who are doing a lot more in their line of business. He alone was doing it, and at some point, after some time, we realized that the plans were shut down. Yeah, so that is very important, and I think that we should take this very, very seriously. So a few reasons why you need a board of directors. One of them is that boards are not just for big organizations, even small organizations, even if you're a sole proprietor, whatever it is, stand to benefit a lot. Hence, at the inception stage, a board of advisors can be useful pending the formation of actual board. I think this is very important. Please, I'll beg you to pay close attention to this. Now, this first point is very instructive in that every organization, be you a sole proprietor, be you a small company, be you a private company, so-called, be you a public company or limited liability, and all of them that have just been introduced, you need so most of the time our concern is, oh, can I afford them? Or it's so stressful with remuneration, how do I get them? And all of that. Now, this is very important. If you feel that, in honesty, you cannot go probably to approach them and all of that, you can just talk to them. Oh, can you kindly be part of the board of advisors of our company? And you understand. So essentially, when you have them, it's like a name qualification that probably will not put you under a heavier obligation to now feel, oh, I have to pay them. So they're just there as advisors, right? So you have meetings, but you structure it in such a way that although they are advisors, but you can really organize the meetings for some time now, which is that you probably would have those meetings every quarter, for instance, and it could be virtual and physical meetings if they do have the opportunity or time to come, and you have that. So I think that is something that anybody do and help and get people to really join. A board of advisors is very useful pending the formation of actual board of directors. So if you have a board of advisors, advise you after some time and your business begins to scale and improve and all of that, then it will be nice at some point, of course, that you now probably do a formal formation of the board, so that everybody's now, the roles are even more clearly defined without any ambiguity. So another reason why you need a board of directors is that seeking to maintain complete control over your business will hinder its prospect for growth and sustainability. So in this part of the world, we love the idea of, a one-man business. So nobody wants anybody to steal this business. So that's more reason why some of us, or some entrepreneurs, as it were, prefer to have complete control. So like I mentioned in the first point, which is so that you don't probably give them, if you are so scared of that, you could give it a try. And it's okay, let's have a board of advisors. I'm not going to change anything in the CS incorporation documents so that nobody steals my company. But at the same time, we would have a board of advisors, and that board of advisors would help us in moving our company forward in terms of course, growth and sustainability based on the quality of people we are getting on the board. The rewards of high impact boards far outweigh the investments. So it's about essentially, it's not just about, oh, I want to have a board so that my company sounds like we're making impact or making inputs. Is that the reward for a high impact board is far outweighs the investment. So one right choice of a board can significantly alter many things, because they have the foresight, they have the exposure, they have the network, they have the reach. So having the board, whether you call it at the initial stage of board of advisors, or you call it a board of directors, that will significantly change the dynamics, in that when they come properly composed, a board of directors with competent people, with expertise, with their rich network, with their experience. I'm not talking of just people probably who are just rich. No. It's rich network, rich who have knowledge about what they do, and of course people that you share same values with, because sometimes, because we want to have a board, sometimes our mind, we avert our mind to just the rich and successful people in terms of rich in quotes now, and think that by being rich, that qualifies them to be on board. No, it's much more than that. You must share same values. So some people come on the board and quite frankly, you don't share the same values. So for ethical purposes, some don't have any problem with offering bribes for you to get business of whatever kind. So you must be careful to know that you share same values with some of them, with most all of them as it were, and of course you have the same outlook to life and all of that. And of course, they are also bringing their own perspective of business and how it can be translated or scaled up, as it were, to a higher enterprise. So for a small business owner, you can look for creative ways to incentivize your board members. So I assume that we would say, okay, just bring people to come and work for free. Yeah, no, well, at the initial stage, probably you cannot afford them, or probably you just cannot do much to show how grateful you are for their efforts and all of that. But there are other ways you can incentivize them, probably get them gifts, many creative ways from time to time that you show your appreciation. So another reason why you need a board is that it exposes you to the vast network of committed experts who share your values. I've said that before. Limiting your board membership to your family might deprive you of the objectivity and oversight a board offers. A strong management is good, but a board brings a higher level oversight and direction to the company. So just to speak to this point, most of us in our mind would think, or some of us would think, oh, why do I need a board if I have a strong management team? Competent guys, they're smart guys, they're good at what they do, and all of that. I don't need a board. But really, a board brings a high oversight. I'd mentioned before one of our clients, one of our wonderful clients, and that how we had issues at the initial stage when we started our interaction with him, and how you had to go on and on registering. Most of the time, you would find he had competent guys working for him. He had smart, sound guys working for him. And so it's beyond just the employees. What they focus on is the day-to-day operations of the company. But the board has a higher level oversight because they've seen it all. They've done it. They've been there. They've seen it. So they have experience in ways that you might not have. Yeah. So that is very, very important. So, a critical component of the board I've been talking about since is that the issue of directors. So a director is a person is provided for by law, and of course, the person duly appointed by the company to direct and manage the business of the company. Every company, except small company, I mentioned before, small company, is to have at least 2 directors. By the new law, like I mentioned, small companies are no longer mandated to have 2 directors. So one person can indeed register a company now by Section 271 of CAMA. So, so even though that has been provided for, which anybody can take advantage of if registering a small company, is that much more than that, you need to now think of the other benefits that probably a board will afford you. So it's something to think about. So first directors are appointed at incorporation, like we mentioned before. So initially the first directors usually are appointed when you just incorporate. You have subsequent directors at AGM. Appointed at AGM. So any person above 70 years to disclose this fact before appointment as director. So this applies to essentially public companies. A director to disclose any position he holds as a director in any other public company. So in all of the issues we've discussed, it's important to know that it's not just about appointing people. Some are not, although they are interested in it, but they are unable to because of time constraints. So it's important to consider people that are not just available, or not just interested in helping you support your business, but their availability is also very necessary. So you can imagine a situation where you have people on the board and for 1, 2, 3 years, you can't even have them to sit down, either virtually or in physical meetings because they are always busy. So it's good to consider people that are willing and able to be at your on your board. So for public companies, of course, the law is that you must disclose if you are above 70 years old. If you hold positions in more than hold a position as a director in any other public company, the law is that you are also mandated to disclose. So there are certain persons that by law, by Section 283, are disqualified from appointment as director. So your infants that is below 18 years and above, and below rather, you have lunatic, you have lunatic or people of unsound mind, you have a person suspended or removed as a director in any other company, they are disqualified. A corporation other than its representative appointed to the board for a given term. So directors also by law can be removed. So it's not permanent. It's not that once you appoint them, they cannot be removed. They can be removed. Directors can be removed by ordinary resolution, of which special notice is given. So the law mandates I give the director notice 14 days before he or she is removed. So another very cardinal consideration in the board is the role of a secretary. I'd mentioned before the issue of small companies. They're exempted from having secretary. In the past, it was compulsory, but now it is no longer compulsory for small companies to have a secretary. Other companies are to have. However, for private companies, being 18 years and above and able to read and write seems sufficient. So there's no special qualification for you to be appointed as a secretary in a private company. Once you are 18 years and above and you can read and write is sufficient. However, for public companies, the qualification is as contained in section 233 and 332 of CAMA, which is that the person to be appointed must either be a member of ICSAN, that is the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators, or a member of the accounting professional body, or a legal practitioner, or anybody who has held the position of a secretary of a public company at least 5 years immediately preceding his appointment in a public company. So all of these persons are the people that are qualified for the appointment of to the post of or position of a secretary in a public company. For private companies, and I mentioned that the requirement is not very very strict, as it were. And for small companies, interestingly, they are exempted from having a secretary. Yeah. So the other issue would now talk about is financial statements. So as part of the requirements for a sound corporate governance in any organization, I'd mentioned before that the idea of a financial statement, these are some of the things that are done at and that are laid at the AGM. So every company shall cause accounting records to be kept. So this does not preclude any other company, does not exempt anybody. Every company, small, private, or public companies, limited liability partnership, limited partnership, are to have accounting records, kept, and this involves everybody. So, and I would advise, if probably you have a sole proprietorship, and all of these provisions, you just put yourself in there. Although not mandated by law, but this, like we mentioned, is good for sound corporate governance structure and practice in your company, or in your business, or in your business name or proprietorship or whatever you have. That is not a company. So, but in a holistic sense, if you adopt these systems and you are disciplined to follow through on some of these provisions as though you are a registered company, private company, in the long term, it will show in what and how far you can travel as a company. So some of the things that the financial statement will do is to disclose with reasonable accuracy at any time the financial position of the company, and directors are to prepare financial statements. So the people that are mandated by law to provide financial statements are the directors of the company. Yeah, so for private companies, the clear demand or things that your financial statement must contain is the balance sheet as at the last day of the year, a profit and loss account. You also have notes on the account. You also have the auditor's report, director's report, a 5-year financial summary in the case of a holding company, the group financial statements. So these are in themselves some of the things that the financial statements should contain, especially for private company. And when I mean private company, in this place will generously also cover, include business names, so that they also know that there's a higher level of accountability expected for any business to survive and thrive and outlive in themselves the founders. So there was also the provision for audit. I mentioned before the need for auditing, and it forms part of some of the things that that are discussed at the AGM, the reports and all of that. So every company at each AGM, every company, private, public, small, and all of that, at each AGM appoint an auditor to audit the financial statements of the company and to hold office from the conclusion of that AGM, that is, until the conclusion of the next AGM. So principally, let's say within the space of 15 months, 15 months after one AGM to the other AGM, a company is expected to have an auditor and is to hold office within that space of time. Afterwards, of course, his tenure can be renewed or he can be asked to leave. So that is something that's ongoing for the company and throughout the life of the company. And this forms an essential part of corporate governance. So it's not just about having a company and having an auditor that probably you just call from time to time to help you prepare statements. No, it's that the auditor should be there going through your books and helping you to scrutinize everything you do with exactitude, with accuracy, to help you so that the business doesn't just go on as a going concern, but is also healthy and strong. So the provisions of any act establishing a body of accounting shall have effect in relation to any investigation or audit. So auditors are also bound by clear rules and regulations. So none of the following persons qualify for appointment as auditor. So in appointing an auditor, you ask yourself, who are the persons that are qualified and who are the persons that are not qualified? So an officer or servant of the company is disqualified from, for instance, from appointment as an auditor. A person who is a partner of or in the employment of an officer or servant of the company is also disqualified. So let's say the first category is an officer of the company. So let's say a staff of yours cannot be the auditor of your company. That's not how it's done. So the staff is precluded from being another auditor out from outside, really. So a person who is a partner of or in the employment of an officer or servant of the company cannot also be the auditor of a company. So you cannot probably, in some respect, audit yourself. So some people are partners in a firm and probably they are qualified as auditors. They now begin to audit themselves. Although it's, of course, naturally cost saving, but much more than that, because that level of objectivity will be violated significantly. So a body corporate, of course, is not, unless, of course, all the partners in that body corporate are qualified as auditors. So even those previously employed or connected with the company are precluded from being appointed as auditors. So this defines exactly who qualifies to be an auditor and who cannot be appointed. So place, duration, and form of records. So we've talked of accounting records, we've talked of financial statements, we've talked of audits and all of that. Now, it's important to know that the place where all of these records by law, by virtue of section 375, are to be kept is principally the registered office of the company or any other place in Nigeria. So anywhere the company decides to call its head office or its registered office or any other place, that's where any other place so recognized in Nigeria is the place where the records are to be kept. Accounting records are preserved for 6 years from date it was made. So if for any reason accounting records are to be kept and accounting records are made up as provided for by law, then it must be kept, including audits and all of those documents pertaining to the company. The law is that for 6 years, it should be kept. So in addition, original hard copies electronic copies are to be kept in secure locations. So let's assume the fellow says, oh, well, we have we have we have electronic copies. The law is that also keep the hard copies. Also keep the hard copies. So it's not sufficient to just have, oh, we have electronic copies. We don't have, it's good to have all of those copies in the event that that you probably need to check the books, the auditor needs to check the books and all of that. All of them should be kept in a safe location. So safe and secure location. Assuming you are using, for instance, electronic copies, in addition to the hard copies, then the law is keep it safe, keep it secure. Of course, against hackers and all of viruses and all of that, that might affect the credibility or of the documents. So, yeah. So we'll now discuss the issue of annual returns. Yeah. So for the most part, every company shall once at least in every year make and deliver to the Commission an annual return. So it's interesting to know that for most of us, after incorporation, we don't really pay attention to annual returns. But as an ethical issue, it's important to look critically at the issue of annual returns. It's ethical to do that. It's in fact cheaper to pay annual returns yearly, right? So annual returns are to be paid to the Corporate Affairs Commission. This must be distinguished from taxes to FIRS. So it's annual returns are returns you make to the Corporate Affairs Commission, and of course the financial report is attached to it and all of that, and the report is filed, and the requisite fees is paid. It's a lot cheaper. So because if you don't do that, each year that you default or that you don't pay, there's a default fee that is that accrues, as it were, or that the law provides for. So so it's cheaper to do it the same year. So each year after incorporation. So of course the year of incorporation is excluded. So but subsequently, at least 18 months after incorporation, you'll begin to file your annual return. So this includes, I would also say, includes business names, even NGOs, right? So they're also included. Everybody needs to file an annual return. If you don't, like I mentioned before, you would need to now pay default fees. So most people, the only time they get to know of annual returns is when they want to do anything in terms of post-incorporation. So assuming you want to go and do anything with the Corporate Affairs Commission after incorporation, you would find that you find that you have to now make annual returns, and they will now calculate from the time or dates when you stop making an annual return. Okay, so I'm having a few questions, so I'll do justice to them at the end of this presentations. Okay, companies not to make annual return in their first year of incorporation, but after the AGM. Mentioned before, the AGM 15 months after incorporation is to be held, yes, no more than 18 months after incorporation. So companies not to make annual return in the first year of incorporation, but after the AGM, but not more than 18 months. So ideally, your annual returns probably 15 months after, right? But not more than 18 months. So critically, let's put it, just say, oh, you register your company, let's say this month of this September. So so 15 months from now, so this September. So most likely you'll not even pay an annual return even in 2021. So most likely you'll pay early 2022. So that is how it is. So, and it now continues like that 15 months afterwards, 15 months afterwards. So after every year. So that will help you to be on the safe side. And to be on the safe, to make it very easy so that you don't have to now be calculating, oh, tax obligations, as part of the ethical issues that we are going to be talking about, is that it's advisable for you to structure your, as a company, your financial statements with the aid of a tax consultant, so to lessen your tax obligation within the ambit of the law. So a lot of us set up businesses, and the issue of tax. And I was listening to my colleague last week talk about a lady who had a business but was worried about how to go about her tax, and he did was quite helpful to her in recommending the best way to go. So companies are to structure their financial statement, and we advise that you talk to your consultant early in the day so that you build that relationship. At the stage where you are now, it's easy in terms of building this kind of relationship. So as you grow with the business, the auditor, of course, or your expert tax consultant gets used to you and understands your peculiar situation and is able to now render some of these services to you. Sometimes it might just be an advice to, okay, this is how you go about it, this is what you do. It's cheaper that way, and early, when you start early, to get familiarized with the expectations, because tax obligations are very important. The obligation is as provided for by law, so it's not what you can dodge or pretend not to be there. In so many transactions that you now need to pursue, you would find that you would have to pay your tax, really. So, and of course, it's also part of your own service to the nation. So it's it puts you in a very tight situation when you don't pay your tax, really. So because there's many benefits that you might not be able to take advantage of. Certain transactions probably will need you to bring your tax clearance certificate, certain acquisitions you want to make, certain things you want to do, certain contracts you want to apply for, governments and all of that. So it's easier to begin to put your books together. So you don't have to wait until a time when there's some kind of requirement, at which point you now begin to run from pillar to post at, and of course, at a higher fee. So the other emerging issue that has that's of note that we need to now look at, globally speaking, is the issues that are important for us in considering, although not part of this slide, I just wanted to quickly mention that, so that we are also taking advantage of what is happening globally in terms of corporate governance, is the issue of diversity. So in forming the board, we've canvassed the case for the board. It's important to consider a whole lot of things. The board is to be composed, who are the people to be qualified, and all of that. And of course, it should be competent people and all of that. But much more than that, in France, in Italy, in Spain, in other advanced nations, you would find that there's greater emphasis now on diversity. So, and when I mentioned that, after I've spoken about this issue of diversity and all of that, and inclusiveness, we would also find that it has so much correlation with what is happening within the African sub-region with respect to the new Africa Trade Agreement. So, so let's say you have your business, and most of you do, and you are going to set up the board, and you're thinking of, oh, who is now qualified to be on the board? Who isn't qualified? What should I look out for? And all of that. Some of the areas you would naturally, to be nice to look at would be the areas of diversity. So let's say within the Nigerian context space, for instance, you are thinking of, oh, who should I get on board? Now, the issue globally now is the issue of having people of different gender, for instance, people of different ethnic groups, people of different ethnicity, as it were. So depending on the dynamics or the kind of vision of the company. So probably you want to make an inroad into certain areas, certain spaces within the country. One of the smartest ways really you can do that would be through through the use of a board that reflects certain long-term plans that the company has. So if you do consider all of that, you would have people from all walks of life. You are thinking of them, and they share some values with you, and probably you've itemized a couple of people, and And the Code of Corporate Governance advises or recommends that that every company should have at least, let's say, should have at least 5 people who are members of the board of directors. So at least minimum of 5. So you're thinking of how do I make this composition? Who are the people? Even if you are thinking of a board of advisors at the initial stage, it will be important to say, okay, so what is the overall objective? What do we hope to achieve as a company? Which direction are we taking? So from that strategic standpoint, you now begin to make appointments along those lines. So issues about gender is now very important. So you probably get people of the opposite gender. You understand? They bring a different perspective. So and of course ethnicity in certain respect, if that is what you're looking at. So all of that would now mean that people bring their different perspectives that would in long term enrich the experience of the company. And I think that is what considering. So globally, the issue of diversity has now taken a front and center and front stage, as it were. So a center stage in the whole discourse of who is now qualified to be on the board, who should we look at, what are the considerations we should have in terms of composition of our boards, what is the direction our company is taking. So for instance, let's assume Americans, for instance, thinking of making inroads into China, for instance, and they might say, okay, as part of the long-term plan, we could have somebody probably from China to be on the board while the company is there. And interestingly, like I'm trying to mention, it's made a lot easier now. So this newcomer provides opportunities in terms of when it talks of virtual meetings. So it's legal now. So when you have this kind of opportunity, it's something to look at closely. So we now begin to compose our boards of people from probably different nations, probably different ethnic group, probably different gender, and all of that. So that enriches what we have in terms of the output from the board. That helps the company in the long term because they're all bringing their different perspective. Interestingly, it might also bring an opportunity for you to also leverage on their own networks to make inroad into those specific areas where your company finds opportunities. So those interactions are probably 4 times a year, board of directors or board of advisors, whatever category you decide to, or whatever choice you decide to make, it's important to know that, okay, in composing this, one of the things that would help is to truly take advantage of all the opportunities it provides. So that is very, very important. So one of the questions I'm going to take, okay, right after my last topic. Now, we'll now talk on the issue quickly. I didn't know I would have much time, but I would have probably added that. But since we have a bit of time, I'll just mention quickly the issue of the African Free Trade and Continental Agreement. The African Free Trade Continental Agreement is an initiative of the African Union, and all of this will be tied together. So just give me a minute, you would find the connection with corporate governance. So it's a law or an agreement, as it were, by all 55 African nations, put together by the African Union, composing of all 55 African nations, of course. And the AfCFTA, the agreement, as it were, Nigeria has signed the law, and Nigeria is a signatory to that law. However, we're yet to ratify. It would have taken off, I believe you must have heard it over the news, taken off sometime in July of this year, but because of COVID, the commencement date has been shifted to sometime next year, hopefully. So the implication for us as business people and Africans, of course, is that upon the ratification, which will be any moment from now by Nigeria, it will now imply that Nigeria, along with over 50 African nations, would now be able to have their own business bloc. So that will provide one of the biggest blocks within the African corridor. In fact, it's reported that once that is done, it will now mean that Africa will now have Second, will now come second. Will now have the second largest trading bloc, just second after the EU and Japan bloc. So that is a massive opportunity that will help our businesses. So in forming your board, and probably you have your sites at moving your goods and services to other African nations. The implication of that is that with AfCFTA, we can now freely move. Is that we can now freely move. Goods and services can now easily be moved within the African sub-region. So that is expanding our business. That is expanding what we do. So now it's designed to cut trade tariffs among member countries. So essentially, the tariffs will be cut. You understand? So what would probably will cost you a lot more to do now upon ratification of AfCFTA, and once it takes off sometime next year, you'll be able to move your goods and services freely at a reduced cost. Let me add that word, at a much reduced cost to other African nations. So in forming your board in relation now to corporate governance, as you look out for what you're doing, as you look out for composition, who are the people to join, who are the people to come on board, what are the people you want, how many meetings you're going to be having, how do you reach across to them, how do you compensate them, and all of that. It's also good to consider, okay, in the next 2 to 3 or 4 years, the global landscape or the African landscape is changing, the continent is changing, the opportunities that are being thrown on board. How do I want to make inroads, probably to Rwanda, to begin to scale and to have my goods and services move beyond probably this nation, you understand, within the African continent? Where is the market? Or where are those places where I can, you understand, easily? So these are some of the things. And probably at which point it would be nice to say, okay, to do that, of course, it might now mean we need to collaborate with other our African brothers or sisters as it were. So to make an inroad into their market. Probably you too, also, some of them would also naturally want to make inroad into the nation, into Nigeria. So you provide that ladder, that bridge, because in the long term, if done rightly, you get the right people from other African nations, 1 or 2 probably, to help you expand your network so that you begin to make inroads into them, into their countries. And of course, that will significantly help make your business even more profitable. So to help make a country's exports cheaper, I mentioned that before. So of course, this whole law is designed to remove all the barriers to entry, barriers to trade, and that we have within the African country amongst ourselves. So it will expand the market. It will open up things for people to do even more freely. So to help make a country's exports cheaper and get easier access to other markets, they remove border taxes or trade barriers. So and to get rid of quotas, so that there will be no limits to the amount of trades one can do, and so on. These tariffs are usually in the form of taxes. So most of the tariffs I would find they're in form of taxes. So so the law is aiming at let's cut these taxes for our fellow African brothers and sisters, so they can easily trade amongst, we can easily trade among ourselves. So this is an opportunity. And if you ask me, one of the quickest way or one of the easiest way to make, to take advantage of this is to now begin to look closely and consider deeply these options while you put your house together, while you try to make a board, if you're interested in having the business outlive you as a founder. And it will be important to now begin to say, okay, what are the opportunities that are in my environment that I can take advantage of? So I've mentioned one of them is, of course, diversity. So that's in itself a recognition by yourself that, oh, that you cannot so that will provide, sorry about that, that will provide an opportunity for you to know how to in terms of your business to expand it. So that it's taking advantage of the issue of diversity. Hello, can you hear me? Hello. Hello, Sister Joke. Hello.
Yes, we can hear you, but I think you keep pressing mute, so you've been muting yourself.
Okay.
That's why I've been sending you mute request. Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. So one of the
Yeah.
opportunities I did mention was, in addition to AFTA, you can hear me, right?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, is the issue of diversity and the opportunities that have now been provided in the African sub-region by the AFTA. Like I mentioned at the opening of that, I mentioned that Nigeria has signed, and the implication of signing is that, of course, it now within the African sub-region we've agreed to be a signatory to it. However, the next step usually in the legal process is, in the lawmaking process, is for it to be ratified. In other words, it will now be brought to our National Assembly and made a law. So once it's made a law, then we can fully take advantage and begin to now explore this. Like we mentioned, this law would have taken off in July of this year, but because of COVID, it has now been postponed. So so other African countries would have started benefiting from it, excluding Nigeria. But hopefully when we do domesticate it or ratify it within our country, then we can now join the other African men and women, business people, to take advantage of the opportunities that this provides. So this is very important, and these are the emerging issues I thought we should also look at closely. So we have a couple of questions. Actually, this brings us to the end of my presentation. So I'll take a couple of questions. Opina Echendu said, kindly shed more light on why someone who have been removed from a public board is disqualified to be appointed on another, since the provision of the law permits removal of a person for peculiar reasons. Well, kindly, now, the issue is that once removal is different from when somebody retires, for instance. So for somebody to be removed from a board, especially if it's on the grounds of certain misconduct, of course, the law is that he cannot. So let's say an undischarged bankrupt, for instance, somebody convicted, for instance. So so it's not just, probably somebody said, I'm no longer interested to be a director, I want to leave, or my tenure, for instance, has elapsed, so retirement is different. So if the infringement, the basis for which he was probably removed from the board is such that he committed some vital infringement of the law, then, and of course, of the articles of association of the company, then it will now mean that it will be unhealthy and it will be a gross violation of the law for him to be appointed to serve on this new board or another board, especially with respect to public companies. So mind you, in the context of a public company, the requirements is very strict in that, of course, that company is held in, as a director, you are there, you occupy a fiduciary relationship in trust for the people. So the law is very careful in providing that it wouldn't make any sense to now have somebody that is probably involved in one or indicted in one way or the other to now begin to now administer other companies. Probably the same fate that befell him in that company will be carried on, and he would probably carry on this kind of infringement. So it's safer by the provisions of the law that anyone that has been removed from a public company is disqualified to be appointed on another because of that, the underlying reasons why he was removed. So that's very critical. So I don't want us to mistake removal or retirement. They are distinct issues. So you can't choose to retire even before the time. You can choose to say, oh, I'm no longer interested really in being part of this. I don't want my name tainted and all of that. I have other stuff to do. So, but if you are removed and the grounds for the removal is very critical, that the grounds for the removal is considered. And if the grounds are such that will be one that will make the new company to in itself find itself in a very awkward situation of probably covering up somebody that is indicted for fraud, then it would be advisable not to appoint such fellow. Yeah, so I hope that is clear. How do we know what to file as annual returns to CAC? Okay, so by the regulations of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, that's common now, businesses are now categorized. Like we mentioned, you have business names, you have small company, you have private company. Prior to then, of course, generally speaking, you just have business name, private company, public company. Of course, one of the key things to look at is the company. What's the threshold? So most of the time, if this is a normal company, probably 1 million share capital, just a business name, usually the fee is fixed. And for all of them, actually, the fee is fixed. You look at the CAC site, the fees are there. I don't think official fee for a million share capital or a business name is more than 30,000. Of course, you pay for filing maybe a form and all of that. So if you just play within the regular space of 1 million share capital business name, then usually that's the fee. But of course, you probably would now prepare, the person preparing that for you would now prepare a financial statement. So all of that factor together, but reasonably, that is the official fee. Like I mentioned, if you default, there's also a fixed fee for that. So assuming you have to pay this year and you default, you don't even pay. Some people, 5 years, they're not even paid. So there's always a default fee. Usually for some companies playing within the space of a 2 million share, 1 million share capital and all of that, a business name and all of that, the penalty fee or default fee, like we call it, is usually 2,000 extra. So you add the 30,000, the 2,000, maybe application fee, and probably payments for the person processing the financial statement. So all of them together are put together, and that constitutes what you pay as annual return. But the official fee, like I mentioned, is usually very minute, just about 5,000, and you are good. So that question is from Daryl Lawrence Jimoke. Then another question is from Olua Banke Olopona. She says, do I need to register a company again, even after registering a business name? Secondly, can I use my business name registration for NAFDAC and trademark registration? Thanks. Okay. Do I need to register a company again, even after registering a business name? Well, yeah, like I mentioned, it depends on what you want to do with it. I really don't know exactly what to do, what you intend to do with it. What I would do after this presentation is probably to provide my email address, or and you find it in the slide. Probably you would shed more light on that. But generally speaking, if you have a business, if you have a company already in existence, and probably what you want the business name to do is slightly different from what the company is doing, then probably you might you might have to register a business name. However, we must be careful so that we don't just go about registering for purposes of that. So if it's something that the company can carry on, I don't know which industry you're playing. So if it's something that the company can carry on, it's advisable that you just stick to it and just float it with the company. So sometimes it might include you probably just amending the object, making some amendments, alterations, we call it, in the MEMAT, that's Memorandum and Articles of Association of your company, to capture or to include what you hope to achieve. Being careful here so that you don't have to just be registering for the fun of it, because each of those registrations you make, like I mentioned, it has obligations. You have obligations for tax, you have obligations for annual returns and all of that. So that will just keep increasing your burden unnecessarily. So we need to consider clearly and what do you need to do? Is it something that my company cannot do? Is it I want to venture into a new space, probably a different name, and just be known for something different? Then probably maybe you do general stuff, and maybe you want to now venture into probably real estate or maybe some kind of specific health or specific industry. Then it might be necessary to register. But otherwise, if it's just something within the same line, then I really would not advise you to, so that you don't increase your burden, as it were. Secondly, can I use my business name registration for NAFDAC and trademark registration? For NAFDAC, I'm not entirely sure. Of course, trademark, yes, yeah, you can. But for NAFDAC, I'm not entirely sure. I believe that it would be ideal that you have a what do you call it now? A company to float that. However, there's no hard and fast rule to it. Sometimes NAFDAC is not so strict with that, so you could actually put it in and get direct feedback. I mentioned I'll put my email down, so it's something I could help you check out. But it's a straightforward stuff. Business name can still fly, necessarily for NAFDAC. But in terms of issues like because they are industry specific, so let's say like NIPOST, the requirement is clear. Sometimes they say minimum share capital 1 million and this and that. So, but NAFDAC is not so strict. For trademark, I assure you, yes, what you need to do is to get the logo in place. Probably your payoff mark, that's the, like we call it, generally speaking, you say the motto of your company, or the color and all of that. So that can be trademarked as a business name, notwithstanding. So business name, yes, you can go ahead and do trademark. You can go ahead and protect it. So for NAFDAC, like I mentioned, it's not very strict, but if you need further information, I could help get it and forward to your email if you so wish. So that's that. How does a business name file? This question is from Olumide. She says, how does, sorry, I don't know if it's a he or she. So how does a business name file returns to CSC? How is the range of annual fees? I think I've mentioned that. So we'll move to the next question. What commitment do you owe the board? That's the board of directors, BODs, or board of advisors. Are you to pay them monthly from the payroll or annually from company's profit? Okay, so now for the board of directors, what commitment do you owe them? Right, so I think section 394 of CAMA 2020 provides that, in fact, that the board of directors they must not be paid. Generally speaking, of course, if the articles of association of your company provides that they will be paid, then you should pay them. But if the articles provides otherwise, either you call them board of advisors or board of directors to say, oh, okay, guys, it could be your mentor, it could be that team, those friends of yours, those people you look up to, and say, oh, guys, okay, so we're just starting off. Really and truly, we don't have anything to give you guys, and as we start off and things begin to improve, would find a way to incentivize you. But in between, of course, I would show my appreciation in whatever way we can. I don't want a situation where you now put yourself under some kind of burden to say, oh, I'll pay you monthly, I'll pay you. If you cannot, at this point, probably just starting off, I would advise you don't put yourself under any extra burden. So it would make sense that probably from time to time, you just surprise them. Oh, thank you. Probably after every meeting. And it would be wise that, of course, if you're not paying them, it's only wise that you make the meetings as few as possible. Probably maybe 4 or 5 times or less in a year, and follow through. So I think what would gladden their heart for some of them that you cannot pay, what would really gladden their heart is to see you make efforts in the direction of those things they have said. So it's wanting to bring people for a meeting and they give you counsel and they advise you on strategy and all of that they need to do. And you don't make any effort. Next time you're having a meeting, the same position you were last time is the same. The company has not made any effort. So it gets them irritated, some of them, and naturally they would begin to now withdraw or show less commitment because they feel like you are not taking them seriously. So if you are not paying them, I think one of the best things you can do is to follow through on some of the things they say, look critically at it, analyze, and implement. If you want to pay them, then probably you can state, oh, I'll pay you X, Y, Z. and all of that. So as you incentivize them, of course, with those surprise gifts, and there's so many stuff that you can do to show your appreciation, I believe that they will be more than grateful. Yeah, so I hope that is clear. So I pay them out from the payroll or annually from company's profit. Directors in themselves, yeah. So if you are to pay them, for instance, so it depends on what you want to do. Of course, it's not annually. No, I don't think annually. Annually will be so far away. So that's why I'll make it once in a year. So you are to pay them monthly. Yeah, if you are to pay them, you pay them monthly, or depending on any arrangement you have with them. But otherwise, monthly, they're entitled to their own pay monthly. So if you think you can be paid a monthly, good. If you otherwise, you have that private arrangement with them. Yeah, I hope that's clear. Okay. Do you advise registering a business name for future use? How do I file for registered business that hasn't been running? How do you advise registering a business name for future use? Future use, if you want to use it for future, then you start registering now. So it takes a while before that is done. Because of COVID, things are a lot slower. So you start, and as long as you know the objects for which you are registering the business, you register it and keep it. And like I mentioned, it will be another 15 months before you are not required to pay. So if it's for the future, you can actually register. How do I file for a registered business that hasn't been running? So you print out the statement if you have a corporate account and consult and meet your consultant. Quite frankly, it's straightforward. If you haven't, and of course the balance and the accounts makes it very clear that no business has been transacted so far. So you print out the statement of accounts and proceed to, if it's a business name, of course, LIRS, that's Lagos Inland Revenue Service, or if it's federal, if it's a company, then that means it's FIRS. So that's straightforward. I hope it's clear. Please, what proportion? I'm rushing so that we save time. So in the interim, while I'm taking the questions, I'll quickly just mention that I'll send a book for further reading. It's a book on Get On Board. It's a Leap Africa publication, Get On Board, titled Get On Board, a practical guide to building high impact boards of directors in Nigeria. So I'll send you the name. That will help. So next question, please, what proportion of company income is paid as annual returns? Annual returns, okay, I don't know what you mean by that, but I mentioned annual returns to CAC is different from tax to FIRS. They're distinct. So annual returns, like I mentioned, for companies is paid to CAC, and the amount is minute, like I mentioned, and it's done once in a year. So that's distinct from paying your tax. Yeah. Do I need to, another question from Oluwabanke. So do I need to register a company again, even after, okay, I think the same, I've answered that question before. If one registers a business name, but has not done any business with it, and then wishes not to go ahead with that name as a company, but switch to something entirely different, can that business name be closed? And if so, what's this required? If one registers a business name, but has not done any business with it, and then wishes to go ahead with that name as a company, but not switch to something entirely different, can that business name be closed? And if so, what is required? So yeah, you have registered as a company as a business name, and you abandoned it, and you need the same name to do something else. Can that business name be closed? So we call it cessation of business, right? So you can actually, if you're not doing, if you don't mind, I would say it's just like opening an account and you want to close the account and there's no balance in it in a bank. I don't think there's any need. If you are sure there's no balance, then there's no need to now, because it will cost you more. So I'd advise, if you have registered the business name to company in the same name, go ahead and register a company in that name. Then there's nothing stopping you. Can that business name be closed? And if so, what's required? Really, so there's no need, if you had asked me, to close it. If you are to close it, you pay extra. And you understand, so just leave it there, quite frankly. The only thing, of course, is that, like you mentioned, like you know, is that, of course, annual return keep piling. So, but quite frankly, it ends there as long as there's no account to which any transactions is happening. To me, you can leave it. But otherwise, if you would prefer to just say, oh, let me be known for one, so that things don't keep piling up, well, then the process is called cessation of business, and you now need to pay your annual returns from the date it was incorporated. You understand? So that is an application that goes to CAC. We call it posting corporation. You pay for all the annual returns that you've defaulted. You return the certificates. It will be collected, and the certificate will be issued to you at the end of the day, which is called the certificate of cessation of business. Okay, so how do you determine or pay for board of directors? Can give suffice till your company is making profit? I think I've answered that. For NAFDAC, yes, you can. Okay. Which agency handles trademark registration? Okay, it's the Patents Registry. It's the Ministry of Trade. Yeah. So it's Ministry of Trade. So you have the registry for trade, for copyrights, for trademark, and for patents. So that's in Abuja. Yeah. So that's the ministry that handles that. Okay. So question from Adeleke says, I run a farm that produces oven dried catfish packs. Do you need to charge VAT from customers? What legal payments are we to make to or for our business? Our monthly transactions about 150K, 150 to 400K. I run a farm that produces oven dried catfish packs. Do you need to charge VAT from customers? Value added tax, okay, 7.5%. What legal payments are we to do for our business? Our monthly transaction is about, so I wouldn't know what legal payments, I have to make for our business. Really, until payments to now, your legal officer, I don't know. What I would do is to provide my email at the end of this, so that you probably give us further particulars. So for VAT, well, it's essentially if you have 5 VAT for your company, then that means, of course, you now need to remit the VAT to FIRS. So if you charge them for VAT, you remit it. It's an ethical issue. Yeah. So. So a question from Adeleke. We run a farm that produces oven dye. I think I've answered that. Thank you, sir, for ebook. Okay, so I'll right away just provide the name of the book. I hope it's clear. Is it compulsory to charge VAT? Well, okay, so this question is from Adeleke Favor. Is it compulsory to charge VAT? I'd mentioned before, just now, that if you have applied to FIRS to be their agent to collect VAT, then you need to collect and remit. You understand? So at the point of doing your registration, getting a FIRS, a TIN, tax identification number, and all of that, that means that you need to now collect and remit. So it's not just about collecting, you have to remit what you collect. So I have a concern from Osaritin. Okay, so my questions were not answered. Okay, need to check quickly. Osaritin, your question is on for NAFDAC. Yes, you can. Okay, trying to look for your question actually. So I hope I can allow it slide. Yeah. Oh, I quite frankly can't see your question. Just a point where you typed yes for NAFDAC. Yes, you can. That's at 9:44. So let me just check the ones coming in. I'll forward my email. Write it. I'm doing it right away. So that if for follow-up questions, right, that you may have, so that I'll just shed more light on them without taking. Okay, so the question is, okay, sorry, okay, it's a question. Please, I am planning to set up a board, and my mentor is not Nigerian. Can she be a member of my board with the definition of a small company? Yes, why not? She can. Why? She can. Like I mentioned, it's just a provision. So there's nothing, it's just an allowance to say, oh, okay, one person can be a board member. It doesn't mean like you cannot have more. You can have 5. You can have as much as you can. You understand? At least 5 by code of corporate governance. You understand? So, but it doesn't mean because it's a small company, you must now have just 1. No. If you know you have, it's just an allowance for those that, some actually by what we do, we find people that don't want to have anybody to be a shareholder with them. They want to own the company alone. So that's the kind of provision for them. Assuming they don't want anybody, they don't want to pay anybody, they don't want to collaborate with anybody, they just want to do their stuff alone. So that's it. Yeah. So if you have people that want to join you, of course, that is very important that you do that. Contact the person. Yeah. So how do I register my book for trademark? At what point do I register? So Biola Saka says, how do I register my book for trademark? What do you need for a book really is trademark? No, it's copyright. So at what point do I register? Yeah, so if the book is out and it's your original work or an improvement of one, substantially, then the process is a copyright process, and that can be done by you consulting an expert, a lawyer. Yeah. So so how can a director change his or her name? Yes, that's from Bolaji. I know of someone who was single when she became a director of the company, but she's married now. What are the required documentations? Yeah, so of course you update, that's the, we'll call it this from CSC 7, yes, I think 7A, so 7, right? So that's the particulars of director. So you just furnish a new means of identification, you make the proper application, the filings, and you pay for that. If you've not been paying your annual returns, like I mentioned before, you now need to pay to do anything after incorporation. So that is very important. So that because of time, I think I've just typed my email address into the chat box. So probably if you need, you could just need to ask further questions, you can follow up. So I'll take just one more question. Good morning, please. Good morning, please. What taxes are we supposed to pay as a supermarket with a turnover of less than 24 million per? Okay, so a question before then said, can I be the chairman and executive director of my company? No. That is a breach of corporate code of corporate governance. So the idea of having to be chairman and chief executive officer is no longer the in thing. So you can either be chief executive officer and some other person is chairman, or just chairman and some other person does that. So sorry guys, you have to, some of these questions are answered privately. You have my email, just forwarded to them. And I need to hand over to Sister Joke. Our time is fast gone. I thank you all so much, and sincere apologies for the network issues we had earlier. I truly, I'm grateful to CCBS and grateful to all of you for listening. Thank you all so much, and God bless you.
Okay, now it's time to raise the roof. Okay, guys, please let's just begin to raise the roof for our very own barrister. Unmute yourself and just give him this. Let's raise the roof and
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Very insightful. Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Sunday. God bless.
God bless you.
Thank you. Very explanatory. Very clear.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, Sunday.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I'm always so cool, calm, and
so much. Really
collected.
appreciate.
Thank you.
You know.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. One of the things I love about you, my legal degree, is how you make law seem so simple. As in the ABCs of law, you just break it down so simply for us. Thank you so much. We appreciate you so much. And of course, if you have any more questions, I mean, Sunday is one of us, one of the CCBS facilitators. Please send him messages. We'll be willing to talk to you later after the class. So on that note, thank you, Sunday, once again for spending your Saturday morning with us. We appreciate you so much, and we'll see you behind the scenes later. And once again, as usual, let us close up for him and say thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. You're welcome.
Okay. One down. Okay, I think okay, it's time to mute ourselves now. And let me just do that from my end here. Okay.
God bless you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, while I'm trying to mute all of us, can we just please just do me that favor of muting yourself? Especially those of us that have babies and we are eating in the background, except you want to share your Saturday meal with us. So If I'm just mute yourself. Yes. Thank you. Okay, and quickly on that note, we move to the next session for today, and that is recognizing business opportunities in the Nigerian environment. I mean, right now there's so much actually going on right now. I mean, some people are saying, oh, things are difficult, my business is not moving, what do I need to do, what do I need to do? Okay, so it's time for us to now hear from another expert in the house who's going to open our eyes to see all the opportunities that we have right now. I mean, all the challenges, all the things people are seen as challenges, how we can turn them into opportunities and capitalize on them if it's even build other new businesses. So quickly, I will read his profile quickly. He's been with us since morning. So I will quickly read his profile and then hand over to him. Okay. And for this session, we have Mr. Shola Akano. Shola has over 10 years working experience that span across operations, maintenance, and engineering of gas transmission, distribution, virtual pipeline, and independent power plant. Prior to joining where he is right now, Shola was a business development officer at Greenville LNG, was responsible for negotiating and executing liquefied natural gas sales and purchase agreements with clients, as well as leading the sales efforts in the southwest of Nigeria. He also works as a head engineering and project unit in OPEX Oil and Gas Limited, the operator of Axela's assets, as former Oando Gas and Power, where he was responsible for site survey, rights of way selection, cost estimation preparation, conceptual design, hydraulic analysis, equipment design, project management, and installation. It handles the commissioning of over 50 spur lines and pipeline gas stations, as well as over 10 CNG daughter stations with a high pressure line, as well as low pressure lines while working with OPEC. Shola has a Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering from Lagos State University. He has a Master's of Science in Chemical Engineering from the University of Lagos, and a Master's of Business Administration and MBA from the Quantic School of Business and Technology, USA. Currently, Shola Akano is the Head Commercial Operations and Strategy at QSL Global Energy Limited. And on that note, I'm going to unmute us again so that we can welcome him. Welcome him. Please love and raise the roof, raise the roof, raise the roof, raise the roof for Shola Akano.
Welcome.
Now let them see you. Come on, bud. Baby, stop crying. Oh. Shola, are you here? I know I've been saying you here since morning.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh yeah, now let's see you now. Oh yeah, now take over. I'm handing over to you now. Yeah. Hi, I see you. Welcome,
Good morning.
welcome.
Thank you.
You have the floor now.
So I would like to share. I don't know if the.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
I see the previous person is still sharing screen.
Okay, yes, close it. Yeah, so over to you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, so good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good
morning.
Thank you. It's good to be here. Thank you for the opportunity. Common Capital Business School. So I hope we'll have a good time this morning, and I hope we are not too occupied, because I know we've had a session, and so but I'll try to make it as lively as possible, and I would like feedbacks, because the topic is actually something that we can all talk about together. So I would like ideas from the team. Let's have a back and forth while we are going through it. And that we can dig in. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Yes, we are ready.
So you're welcome. You're welcome. My name is Akonoluwashola, so you can just call me Shola. This is opportunity in the Nigerian business environment. And it's so nice, as she was doing the introduction, she said something about, a lot of people see challenges in the Nigerian business environment, whereas the more challenge you have, the more the opportunities, in a developed society, and most of the problems have been solved. So, but in a society where there are a lot of challenges, that's where the opportunities are. That's where the money are, the opportunity to bring out something out of what is happening in the environment. So I hope that this morning we'll be able to see some of these things, and you will see that there are things all around us that we can just look at, and everybody would so it's going to be interactive. We're going to have some sessions where you guys will give me some answers, maybe through the chat. I would look at all those answers and, dig in. Also, we'll be reading the Bible, so get your Bible ready. We'll be reading the Bible too, because of course we are covenant, the covenant nation. So we have a covenant with our Father, and we can't get that covenant except by reading His word. Please, if you can't hear me, you can just let me know in case or anything. So please let me know. Yeah. So let me go in. So these are the learning and performance objectives for us to be able to identify ideas and opportunities for scaling up in the Nigerian business environment. Excuse me. Then to understand the different markets, sectors, and industries in Nigeria, and the success drivers of business opportunities. So students here will list 3 business opportunities and ideas for scaling them up. So during the session, we'll have a session where you will list ideas or sectors that you feel there are opportunities and ideas that we can use to, scale them up. Then identify the drivers of each business opportunity. Sorry. Okay. Now, our scriptural basis. Thus said the Lord thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. I am the Lord thy God, which teacheth thee to profit, to be valuable, useful, and to have profit, or to be profitable, which leadeth thee by the way that thou should go it. This scripture is very instructional. That I am the Lord thy God, and I teach you to profit. So God actually teaches people. Of course, that's why his prophets, his messengers are always successful, because he teaches them and he guides them on how to go, on what to do and how to do it. And so this is like is an assurance for us that God, our Father, will teach us how to go, will teach us how to make profit in our endeavors, in our businesses and all that. So all we need to do is to listen, is to pay attention to what he's saying, and definitely success is ours. The other scripture is actually very long, so maybe we'll get to read part of it later. I would have loved us to read it, but maybe we'll get to read part of it later. Okay, so definitions. What's a business? Unfortunately, it's already on the screen. I would have loved us to give different ideas on what we think a business, but let's go on. So business is all about identifying needs, solving problems, and creating a market, a place for the exchange of value. So it's just it's a way of exchanging value, actually. How do you make money? It's through a business. Business can be so many things. Trading is part of business because when you trade, you sell a goods, you get value for the good, you get money for the good. So, but basically, it's just these three things: identifying needs, what people want, what people would need, what people will pay for, what people will do everything to get. That's, you have identified a need. Oh, it's just a problem. That, you know, the way we have traffic in Lagos, you know, the way, even the fact that we import most of our products, those are problems. The fact that before you know it, any change in exchange rates, things change all across Nigeria. People are stranded. It's either we don't have enough petroleum product, or the prices go up, and all that. And that's why Dangote is building a refinery. Like, why do you have to do it? Let's build a refinery here. We have the local crude oil, refine the products here, and we will not be dependent on dollar and all those things again by the time the refinery is up. So it's just solving a problem that a nation as big as Nigeria, 200 million people, we don't have, our refineries are not functional. Like, okay, why can't I as an individual build a refinery and solve that problem for us? And invariably, you probably be solving it for the whole of West Africa, because if we have enough refining capacity in Nigeria, in fact, most of the crude that we import into Nigeria goes into West Africa, Cameroon and all those places. They take it from Nigeria because it's cheaper in Nigeria. They take it to all those countries. So by the time that's why our volume is high. It's not really that we use everything in Nigeria. So by the time you solve that problem, you will discover that he's solving it for virtually West African countries, because they continue to take the crude to all those places, and you know, so it's just solving a problem. So then you can create a market. An example of creating a market would be Apple. Apple, oh, they saw an opening in the market. They feel, why do we all have to be carrying, you know, then it was there's this Dixman that people will put their disc into, and you carry around, and why are you carrying such big things? So they created a market of iPods. That was where they started from iPod, and you know, iPad, iPhone, and all that. And they are creating a market that people didn't even know existed before. A market that we were not using smartphones and all those things before. But you know, they came up with all those things and several others. So that's it, and as an example. And at the end of the day, they are getting value for it. Apple is the most valuable company in the world. More than $1 trillion. I'm even hearing that they've gotten to $2 trillion recently. You know, they are just moving at a pace that even countries cannot get close to them. Somebody was saying that for the GDP of like so many countries in Africa, it's not even up to what Apple, one company in America, is doing. You know, all because they saw an idea, they saw a market, they created that market, and they're solving for people all over the world. And today they are the most valuable company in the world. Yeah. So, and that's what business can do for you if you do your business. So I'm very happy with the session we had before now. You know, you delve into having a board, you know, putting a structure around your business, because those are the problems in businesses in this part of the world. There's no structure, and when you don't have structure, you cannot grow. You can if you want to build a house, you want to build a story building, you can't build it the way they will build a bungalow, because that story building needs to stand on something, because it's weight. So when you want to grow big and large, you are going to carry a lot of weight. So you need a solid foundation to build on. If you don't have that solid foundation, you cannot last. It will crumble with time. So solid foundation of planning and doing the right things. Making sure your tax is done, your audit is done, making sure that your business, even your business formation, you have it right from the word go, which you form, which you have, you know, all those things are essential in growing. Having a board, people that you are responsible to, not so that every money that comes into the business goes into your pocket to use it for whatever it is. Having like, there should be a structure where money leaves the account of the company. If money is going to leave the account of the company to your account, it should be your salary. Anything apart from that should go through a process of approval and all that, and it should not be your account. You should be paying third parties or people, you know, things should be done properly. So, and that's the only way growth can come. So this scripture too, I think is very instructional. For the Jews require a sign, and the Greeks seek after wisdom. But we preach Christ crucified unto the Jews, a stumbling block, and unto the Greeks foolishness. But unto them which are called, both Jews and Greeks, Christ the power of God and the wisdom of God. You know, they say for you require a sign and you seek after wisdom, which is what we are trying to do. We are trying to identify opportunities in the market. We are trying to identify opportunities in the Nigerian business, challenging business environment, you know. And so there's no substitute for understanding the unmet needs of customers. That's one of the things of business, is the unmet need of you know, as you are, you know, as you go, we should just be picking the examples. As we are right now, there are a lot of Nigerians complain about so many businesses. They complain about banks, that they just charge you anyhow. They complain about insurance companies that you pay a premium. At the end of the day, they don't, where you need the premium, they don't come up with the goods. You know, we complain about hospitals that we don't get enough service. You go to the hospital, the doctors, the nurses just treat you anyhow. I'm here to pay. I'm going to pay my money. You know, customer service is not good across board. Those are unmet needs of customers. And that's why, for example, for the bank, I know there are some companies are coming up. There's one Kuda Bank that they're advertising now, saying that they're not going to charge you a kobo. You do a transaction, they're not charging you, you know, a mobile bank sort of. You can save your money and all that. Even these other guys that you save and they give you interest, unlike your normal banks that you save and they keep removing your money every month, maintenance charge, this charge. Some people are like, my ATM card is with me. What are you maintaining? Why are you removing the charge? You know, it's not as simple as that, but you know, that's what people are like. Why are you always removing my money for that? So those are unmet needs. Those are opportunities in the market that are, you know, when people keep complaining about this and that, those are things. If they see someone, they see a person that can provide a solution and solve those things, you're in business. So, and that will allow you to discover whether you're able to supply those needs at the price customers want to pay, and if you can still make a profit. So this is very critical. A lot of people are quick to go into businesses. Someone is talking. Sorry, can you please mute everyone? Hello? Are we together?
Yeah, Shola, you're together. I can continue. Everybody's muted.
Oh, okay. So this is very critical because people usually are quick to go into businesses. Like they just see an idea, they just want to go into it. But you need to evaluate, what will it take to do this business? Do I have enough paying customers? Do I have enough people who are willing to pay for this service or this good that I'm bringing to the market? And is it going to be sold at a price that I can make enough profit to cover my cost and my efforts, to justify the efforts I'm going to put into it? Because if at the end of the day, you're doing a business and, oh yeah, people are buying it, but there's not enough profit in it. There's not enough profit in it. So at the end of the day, it's not covering your cost, or everything goes just at the end of the month, everything goes back. You discover that you're still back to zero or something. Then it's not a good business to do. There's this need for evaluation of, okay, this is just it's just a digression, but I think it's critical, you know, that's things we can just along the line. So you need to have an analysis of what is your minimum cost. What is your minimum cost? And you know, the costs are in different levels. So you have your fixed cost, you have your variable cost, you have your labor cost, you have your manpower, you know, all those costs. You need to know what's your minimum and what will it take for you to make enough profit to cover your cost and still have something to save. As a business, as an individual, it's critical. How much do you spend in a month? How much do you make? How much do you need to make in a month? That's what companies do when they are planning for the, okay, this is our overhead. These are our responsibilities that we need to make. So how much goods do we need to sell? So for a small business, how much, for example, you are into cement, you sell cement, just an example. So how much cement do you need to sell in a month to make enough money to pay your staff, pay yourself, have money for the business, you know, your taxes there, your tax liabilities, and even services that you receive, your auditors, your accountants, everything, to pay everybody. So you need to narrow down to, oh, I need to sell at least 50 bags of cement, because that 50 bag, I'll make, for example, 1,000 on it. So By the time 50,000, I can pay myself 10,000, I can pay this 5,000, I can pay this. You know, you need to have those analysis and drill down to know that, am I making a profit on this business? Am I actually in business, or I'm just doing exchange? You know, but I think I've said enough on that. Let's go. Business idea versus business opportunity. Now, a business idea is a concept that has the potential to make money. You know, something just pops in your head. It's not tested. You don't know if really it will make money, but it's an idea. You think that, oh, people like this thing. People will like this thing. People have done, you've seen one or two things, so you feel that this thing can actually make money. So it's tied around a product or service that has no commercial value yet, but because the concept has not been proven, they have not tested the waters, they have not, you know, in the tech world, they will say minimum viable product. You've not gotten your minimum viable product. You've not tested it, go to the market and ask people to pay for it, and they actually pay for it. You know, you've not, and they pay for it at a price that is good for you and the business as a whole. So that's what an idea is. For an idea to have prospect, it must identify its market. Now, for that idea to grow, for that idea to actually materialize, you must identify the market. Maybe later, some of these things I'm remembering now, I will share. Madam Dr. please, you can probably just remind me later. I would like to share what we call a business model canvas. So business model canvas is for how some of these things are covered in it. It's made, it's what, in fact, it's what some of these companies are using. They sit down and, oh, we have this idea. So you now sit down to identify, okay, what are the markets? Everything is like on a table where there are different sections of what are the markets, what are the resources you need, what are the partnerships you need to make it work. So when you have an idea, the things that will make it work are to identify all this. Identify its market. Who is this market? Who are your potential customers? Who are your potential clients that they can buy this good for you, or you can render this service? What problem is this solving? You know, that can be a very critical question, because you need to know what problem are you solving. And problem identification is a very, in fact, I did a course on problem identification and solving, and I discovered that problems, we are quick to ask questions. You know, when there's a problem, we are quick to answer. And when you do that, you are likely to be wrong. You are likely to be. In fact, one of the examples they gave was that there's an airport where things are flying and discover that birds, you know, they're always killing birds and colliding with birds. So they find, oh, what's the solution? You know, you think that, oh, birds, you know, just kill the birds or find something that prevents the birds. But there are a lot of other factors. There are a lot of other people involved when you want to solve that problem. So you need to actually identify the problem properly. What is the problem? We are saying, oh, banks are charging people for ATM card maintenance, for SMS. But why are they charging it? Why is CBN not stopping them from charging it? So you need to understand the problem really. Is it that banks can't do without those charges, or they just want to rip us off? You know, if you answer those, if you ask those questions, you will know that banks bought those ATM machines, so they want to recover some costs. Banks have people who are servicing it. They also pay some charges to the card people and all those things. So they need a way to go around it. Now, the way they are going around, is it the best? I don't think so, because nobody wants money deducted from their accounts. Now, for the new banks who are coming, how are they doing it? Those ones are finding a way to go around it without charging customers, because of course they believe that if the money stays in if your money stays in their account, they can use it to invest and make money, which banks are also doing, but they still just don't want to bear the cost of those ATM machines and all those things. So, but my point is, you need to know what the problem is, because it's not always as visible as you think it is. You may think, what's there? See, in Nigeria, we're importing our petroleum products. So if you are, why can't Nigeria, we have crude oil and all that, why can't we be refining and all those things? But the question is, the answer is, we have refineries that have shut down. Why did they shut down? Is it because they are run by a government, or if a private individual like Dangote is trying to do, will he run it better? We need to ask questions. What is happening in other parts of the world? How are refineries run? To really know, is there a problem? And is there a solution? Is building a refinery the solution? Because if you think it's a solution, at the end of the day, you may find out that it's probably not a solution, because we will probably be paying more for at the end of the day. By the time the refinery comes up and they now liberalize the market, the price may now shoot up to so many, so it will create another problem. So you need to know what the problem is so that you can solve it without creating other problems which are probably going to be bigger or something like that. Yeah, and so you need to be unique in the market. You can't come to the market and be doing the same thing every other person is doing. They probably won't even see you. They will probably even know you exist. And that's what's happening to some banks. You notice if I mention something like Polaris Bank, Gloris Bank, some banks, a lot of people will be wondering, is that a bank? Are people still using it? Because they are not doing anything different. They're not doing anything unique. But everybody knows GT Bank, because they found their way into our minds and into our hearts. So GT Bank, you may know them because you don't like them, they charge you too much, or you just like them because they make your life easy. I entered the bank like a week or two ago, and I was like, wow, when was the last time I entered the bank? Because I do all my transactions on my phone. I don't need to visit a bank. Either it is 1 naira, either it is 1 million. I don't need to visit a bank. I just do everything on my phone. I want to buy electricity bill, everything. I do it on my phone through the bank. Everything is so easy. Even toll gates. I'm going to work. Toll gate. Oh, I remember. I don't think I have enough credit on my toll stuff. I just park somewhere. Before I press 2 things, I have a toll fee already. I move. So the things are getting easy. So you need to make yourself unique in the market. You need to be innovative. Do things in a different way. There are a lot of things I find very hard to do now because I'm like, it doesn't make sense. So like when I went to register for my toll gate, and like when they were saying that, I use the Lekki Ikoyi link bridge, and they were telling us that they will stop taking cash. I was like, how do they want us to do it? I saw that people were queuing. I said, I'm not going to queue I don't have time to be queuing on all those things. So I discovered that they have an app. I said, that makes sense. I registered on the app. I downloaded the app, registered the app, and in a few days, they asked me to come and pick up the stuff. They pasted it on my car. So I drive there. I don't talk to anybody. I don't even wind down. I just drive. It shows that, oh, I have money, allows me to pass. I'm coming back. The same thing. They are innovative. Imagine if they had not done that, I will probably just find a way to be using the other toll gate that they collect money. Although I don't prefer that because most of the time I don't even carry cash. But because they made it so easy for me, they made an app, downloaded the app, registered, did all the registration on the app, just snapped my car, snapped the plates, uploaded it on the app, everything, and they confirmed it. The following week or so, they asked me to come and pick up my stuff. I went there in 5 minutes, was pasted on the car, I recharged, and that's it. Since then, I don't even have anything to do with them because I do every other thing on my phone. I can recharge on my phone, check my balance, do everything on my phone. I can even use the code. I can use 7337 to recharge the stuff. So they are being innovative. And so that's what we should be thinking about in today's environment, in today's market. See, there are a lot of opportunities, there are a lot of challenges in Nigeria, but there are also, those challenges have the opportunities of being solved, especially in today's world of technology. Recently I was also thinking that a lot of so you see that a lot of the companies in the world now, a lot of the most valuable companies in the world, I just mentioned Apple, Google, Microsoft, Facebook, Amazon. These guys are now all in their trillions of dollars. Whereas the companies of the past, before now, 5-10 years from now, they were Mobil, Chevron, Shell, Texaco, Chevron, Texaco, all those big oil companies, BP, British Petroleum, and all those things. Most of them now, their value is coming down. Now, why? Because the world is changing. Technology is taking over. And a lot of things can be done with technology. A lot of things, no matter how small. Even most of these guys, Apple, Amazon, even in our Nigerian environment, Flutterwave is now allowing people to have a store on their site. So if you're a small company and you sell 1 or 2 products, or maybe you are somebody that makes things, you can have a store on their stuff and sell to so many people. Just share the link with people. People go there. They oh, I like this product, I want to buy. They will pay using Flutter as a platform. So what I'm saying is technology is changing the game. Technology is changing the game. And for business people, we need to start. And we are business people one way or the other. Either you still work in a company, one way or the other, you're a business person. You see an idea, you want to maximize it, you want to, and the things you'll be thinking about is how to be innovative, how to do it in such a way that you will be unique and people will see the value you are bringing to these markets. Then of course you need to know that prospective revenue sources, that how will this thing make money? How will this thing make money? How can we make money from it? And sometimes when you do a business, it's not only one way that you can make money. There can be different revenue sources that can come just doing one thing, or you're making money from so many areas, just like the telecoms. They make money from calls, they make money from your SMS, they make money from your data, they just make money from even maybe your data that you don't even know, because they can estimate in the amount of money you'll be using in a year, in a month, and of course they make some decision based on that hence them more revenue. And you have to look at the future of that business. So it's not just about now, just making profit now. So you need to know that this idea has a high propensity to make money for profitability in the long run. Like, is the market going to grow? Because I'm trying to think of a business that if you start now, shortly before, as the world is evolving, you'll soon be out of business, but I can't really think of it. But I know that there are businesses that you start now that they don't have potential for growth because the world is evolving. Imagine you're into servicing of typewriters. You're already out of business because nobody is using typewriter again. So somebody that's now learning how to make how to repair typewriter, or how to do, you are just, it's a waste of time, because if we have typewriters now, there are very few, and they will be completely out. In fact, children will not know what a typewriter is, except maybe when they teach them in school, maybe are teaching them history and all that. That's when they will know, because that business is out. So things are evolving that will take some things out of the market. So when you want to start a business, those are the things you look at. When you have an idea, is this idea just a temporary one, something that just, but does it have potential for profitability in the long run, the next 5-10 years? Will this service or business or idea still be valuable? Will it still be valid? And will I still continue to make money from it? You need to consider all those things. So let's move on. Now, a business opportunity is different from an idea. Just like I said, that an idea is not proven. It's just an idea that has not been tested. But for a business opportunity, it's a concept that has been proven severally in the marketplace, with the presence of several or many successful businesses doing the similar thing. So if you start a bank, that's an opportunity, because there are so many banks declaring billions every year. GT, First Bank, Zenith Bank, they're all declaring billions. So if you say you want to start a bank now, it's not an idea, it's already an opportunity, because people are ready, there are banks already, and they're making billions from it. So it's just for you to put yourself in a way that you want to capture part of the market. So a business opportunity meets all of the following criteria: proven concept, businesses and similar models. If you want to start a telecom company, if you want to start a fruit company, a fruit juice company, you already have people doing it. You want to start a pure water company, a table water company, a lot of table water companies. So there are models already that are successful that you can copy, that you can follow after, and the gross margin of the business must be high. Of course, declaring billions. If you read papers, the Coca-Colas are making table water. 7-Up is making table water. Everybody, Chivita, making table water, because there's money there. People were in a hot environment, so people, when they walk in traffic and all that, they will always buy water, and so you know that it's a very high margin. Excuse me. There's high margin in the business. Now, then the business must have the potential to reach a break-even point within 12 to 36 months. You know, we should, in our environment, normally in some other environments, you have enough time. They can give you, because you have access to loan at very low interest rates and very low moratorium. But in our own environment, we are very quick. We like to make our money quick. So in this environment, at least, maximum of 3 years, your business should have broken even. That means you should have recovered all the costs input into the business, and after which you start making profit. So it can be between 12 to 36 months. The capital or investment required to start must be realistic and within what you can raise. This is also very critical. You see someone that wants to start a business and the capital is just way out of his reach. You can't even, you know, most companies, even if they want to give you a loan or if they want to give you some, they will ask you to bring at least 10%. So if you want to do a business and you are saying that you need $50 million, 10% is $5 million. Can you raise $5 million? So you have to start from where you are. You have to start, do something with the little you have in your hand, with the bread, with the 5 loaves of bread and the 2 fishes you have, that you can start from there, you know, and God can multiply it and eventually you grow to that level. So the capital investment required must be realistic and within what you can raise. Is this something that, it must not be something that you have on your own actually. You may have friends, but do you have friends? Do you have people that you can bring on board that can contribute to support the idea and raise at least the minimum requirements? Maybe you are asked to bring 10% or 20% or 30%. Do you have within your means how you can raise that amount? Then the 70% can come from the bank or from the multilateral agency or from maybe even from your microfinance bank, you know. So, but you must be able to raise that minimum requirement, because even us in Covenant Capital, when we want to give loan, we ask people, even if you're not going to bring a percentage, but do you have somebody who can guarantee this amount? That means that person can actually give you the money, but instead of giving you, wants to back you up, wants to guarantee you to collect the loan so that you can pay it back. You understand? So there will always be something you need to put on the table, something you need to, it's not just idea or the business opportunity. You need something to put on the table, then you'll be able to get, you know, value and get whatever you want. Then another critical part is, do you have the skills or people needed to make this business successful? Because if you don't have the skill, if you don't know that market, you may just enter and just, you know, not know what is happening. And that's why some companies, they start and before you know it, is down. Because why? The owner probably don't understand the business. If you have to depend on people to understand the nitty-gritty of that business, there's problem. You need to know the business. You know the people that know the business and be able to manage them in such a way that the business will be run successfully, because that's the only way it can be successful. And you must have the potential to keep on improving with time. You know, really, everybody has the potential, but you must have the willingness to improve. You must have the willingness to keep improving. You must have the urge. You must be this excellent person that wants to get better at what you do, that you want to get better at every time. You must not be satisfied with where you are. And in today's business environment, you can be the most. First Bank was, you know, a few years ago was like the biggest bank in Nigeria. I know when GT Bank started. I'm not that old, but I know when GT Bank started. I remember USA 94. That football, and First Bank was celebrating 100 years of existence. GT Bank was not alive then. They were not yet a bank then. But today, Zenith were not yet a bank then. Then it was First Bank, Union Bank, where you queue for 1 hour in the bank to just withdraw money and all that. But today, GT Bank is here, Zenith Bank is here, Access Bank is here. And what did they do? They are even bigger than First Bank now. They may not have enough branches, but in terms of the volume of transactions they do, the profit they make, they are bigger than First Bank. Why? They leverage on technology. They leverage on technology, know the market, and they are improving over time. You know, GT Bank is the first that you know, you go into the bank, you don't need to queue on it. And just put in your ATM card, you can withdraw and, you know, and pay with your card without having to, you know, all the normal processes. They removed it. They keep innovating. That's why I like the bank. Sorry, I'm not advertising about them, but I like the one because they are innovating. Every time they innovate, I'm sure they're probably one of the first to create the app where you can start transferring money and all that. You know, they just do things that makes the customer, you know, life easy. they have a lot of customers, and they are doing everything as much as possible that you can do things on your phone without having to go to the bank. And they are really getting better at it. And they are even creating e-centers where you can go, there's no human interface, just put in your card, you can pay in money, you can withdraw money, can transfer money over, even without your card, cardless transactions you can do at those places. So they are using technology to change it, and that's why they are getting bigger and better than most other banks. You know, but other banks are making money too, depending on their own model. Zenith too, they are not like GT, but they also leverage the technology, and they're doing very well. In fact, they're bigger, they're actually the biggest in Nigeria presently. So you must have the potential to keep on improving. You, even as a small company. And if you notice for companies, this year they will declare profits, maybe of say 1 billion. Next year, it must be higher. They must say, oh, 20%, 30% higher. Every year, it must be better than the previous year. So you must, as a business person, have a goal that what did you achieve this year or last year? So we must achieve better than that this year, this month. So if, for example, you make monthly 50,000, the next month must be higher. You must be at least maybe 60,000. The next month, you must keep getting better. You must keep looking for ways to get better, to generate more profit, more revenue, more customers, to get more customers. You must, it must be a constant thing of the business. It must be a life of the business. Your meetings, your business meetings, your management meetings, your as in staff meetings must be about how do we improve? How do we get better as a company? How do we get more customers? How do we serve our customers better? How do we ensure that they are satisfied more? How do we get, you need that constant improvement is what will get you better and get you to win more market share and get you to, win in the game. So I'm going to the next one, that the risk level must be many times lower than an unproven idea. Of course, this is an opportunity already. So the risk level must have been reduced. You must know, okay, these are the risks, these are the factors that can affect this. Then how do you minimize them? You must know all those. Yeah. So the next thing is a general exercise. Consider the following and identify the business ideas versus business opportunities. Please, I would like someone to read each of these verses for us. I don't know if we can unmute, someone can unmute and read Genesis 2:18 and Genesis 2:23. One person can do that. Another person can do Acts 7:23 and Exodus 3:8. Sorry, are we there? Hello?
Yeah. Genesis 2:18.
Okay.
And the Lord God said, it is not good that man should be alone. I will make him a helper comparable to him. That's 18.
Yeah.
Then Genesis 2:23. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken from man.
Thank you. But I hope can we identify the business idea and business opportunity in those statements?
Yes,
in
partnership.
Those verses?
Partnership.
No, we're trying to group them into ideas and opportunities. Okay. And I was saying that ideas are unproven and opportunities are proven. So you notice that in Genesis 2:18, it says, it is not good for a man to be alone. It's an idea. The Lord had an idea. God had an idea, like, it's not good for a man to be alone. But you now see that in Genesis 2:23, it says, now this is the bone of my bone. So the idea has been proven. He has seen a woman. He said, wow, this is the bone of my bone and this is the flesh of my flesh. He has seen that, oh, it's been proven that it's truly not good for a man to be alone, which God had the idea in 18. And in 23, now, wow. So 18 was more of the idea. 23 is when it was implemented, and you can now see it's now proven that, wow, it's actually good for a man to have this kind of beautiful woman with him, which is the opportunity. So another person can help up with the next one, Acts 7:23. Are we there? Hello, who's helping us?
And when it was full, when he was full 40 years old, it came into his heart to visit his brethren, the children of Israel.
Okay. The next verse, the next scripture, Exodus 3:8. Hello, are we there?
Majuku,
Yeah.
are you still there?
Hello. Exodus 3:8.
Exodus 3:8.
Okay.
Large into a land flowing with milk and honey, unto the place of the Canaanites and the Hittites and the Amorites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites.
So where's the idea? Where's the opportunity?
Opportunity is Exodus 3:8.
Yeah. So tell me about it.
Yeah, because it's a land that is already flowing with milk and honey.
Yeah. Then Acts 7:23.
1 second. He said he came into his heart to visit his brethren.
That's the idea. It came into his heart. That he has not done it. So it just came into his heart. So can somebody help us with Genesis 41:33-36?
Now, therefore, let Pharaoh set a discerning and wise man and set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers over the land to collect 1/5 of the produce of the land of Egypt in the 7 plentiful years. And let brethren gather all the food of those good years that are coming, and store up grain under the authority of Pharaoh, and let them keep food in the cities. Then that food shall be as a reserve for the land of the 7 years of famine, which shall be in the land of Egypt, that the land may not perish during the famine.
Okay. So I'm sure we all know the scripture where Joseph had the idea of how to preserve the year of plenty and the year of lack. You know, it was an idea. It was an idea that just came into their hearts before, and of course, it was implemented later, and that's where the opportunity is. You know, what we're trying to say is knowing the difference between an idea and an opportunity. An idea is something that's just still in your mind. It's not proven yet. It's probably not even existing. Whereas an opportunity is proven, is existing. You have similar businesses or concept already being done. So all you need to do is just to make your own unique and innovative about it so that you can be different. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. So I want us to start thinking about ideas, business ideas and business opportunities. Like we said, you know, we would have 3 that we can, at least a few people will mention. Okay, please, you can help us with these scriptures as well. Luke 12:54-55 and Daniel 9:2. A fast reader, please. How to identify business opportunities.
Daniel 9:2. In the
Yes,
first
sir.
year of his reign, I, Daniel, understood by the books the number of the years specified by the word of the Lord through Jeremiah the prophet, that he would accomplish 70 years in the desolation of Jerusalem.
Okay, I, Daniel, understood by books. Luke 12:54-55.
Luke 12:54-55. Then
Yes.
he also
Then he
said
also
to the
said to the multitudes,
whenever you see a cloud rising out of the west, immediately you say, a shower is coming, and so it is. And when you see the south wind blow, you say, there will be hot weather, and there is.
Hello? Hello? You didn't finish it, huh?
Yes, I did. Luke 12:50. I just read 55. And when you see the south wind blow, you say, there will be hot weather, and there is.
Okay, so we get the point. It's saying that, you know, you look at the sky and say, it will rain, and it will rain. It will be hot weather, and it is that if you can predict that, then you can predict, you can identify business opportunities, because of course and Daniel 9:2 says, I, Daniel, understood by books. You know, Daniel is one of the prophets. Is said to be one of the prophets, the mighty prophets in the Bible, one of the major, you know, we have major and minor prophets in the Bible. So he's one of the major prophets because he changed the trajectory of Israel at that time from slavery and all that. So, but Daniel is able to understand, if being a prophet that listens to God, that God guides, but this prophet still reads and still understands the time by reading. So how to identify business opportunities is information. You just need to be aware. How are you aware? By reading. How are you aware? By observing what is going on. Just observation of what is going on. You can determine, you know. Mr. Gribel, please. Mute everyone. Okay, thank you. So by observing what is going on is enough. By observing and getting information about what is going on, why is it happening, you can identify business opportunities. Like everything I've said before, you know, just looking at Nigeria, like we import everything. We sell our raw materials that we can process here, but we just sell it as raw and now import the processed one. Cocoa is an example. I was happy during the week, and when I was going to work, I was listening to radio, and the lady said that they are making chocolate in Nigeria. So they buy cocoa and process it into chocolate and sell to the market. And she's already looking at selling to West Africa and even Europe and America. Like, yes, that's what we should be doing. You know, if you just observe that, okay, and the funny thing is, the price of cocoa is determined by the West because they are the one buying it. So they create this virtual, like pseudo demand and supply. So they can make it feel as if you don't need your product, and at the end of the day, the price will come down. So our farmers are not getting the value for what they are doing. Whereas those guys, because they process, they make billions of companies next to them in business because of cocoa. They make Milo, they make all of these products, chocolates, so many chocolate products because of cocoa. Nestle is one of the biggest companies in the world. But the cocoa farmers are not making money. Why? The money is not getting to them because we don't process it ourselves. If we process it, we will make a lot of money from it. So by observing those trends, seeing that rice is imported, whereas we can make rice here, by observing that, why are we, if you go to the market, you see that a lot of our products are produced from the farm. Tomatoes, onions, they rot, most of them rot. Mango, most of them rot. So those are trends that you can look at. Those are things you can look at. So how do we take advantage of all these opportunities? Our yam, how do we preserve them in such a way that you can have them all year round? You know, you buy yam today, they say it's new yam, and it's not tasting well. Tomorrow, oh, it's tasting well, you know, it's breaking very well, and you're enjoying it. So why can't we have that good yam all year round? Those are things, getting information about what is going on. What do we import as a country? What do we export? To where are we exporting to? What are the global trends? Why are they saying economy is going down? We're having recession. We're having you know, you need to ask those questions and get information about what is going on. How is it going on? How are things moving in this economy? How does money move in the economy? How does, you know, who is doing what is making this thing work? You know, if you find out all those questions and all those information, and you get those information, you can use it to identify where the opportunities are. Just saying data. You say data is gold now, because from data you can know what, if you so I'm someone like that does a lot of my transactions online with my card, with my app and all that. So like the banks, they can actually know what I spend my money on, because at the end of the day, you can say, okay, he spends this on data, this on this is what he buys, this, he transfers this to this, he does this, he does that. So at the end of the day, they will know, okay, from those, and just the same way for your company and for you, even personally, you can find out what is the economy doing. And Google, I understand that you can get some of these things on Google. There's a special Google package where you can get information on what Nigeria imports, what we export. In fact, you can get information on what are people doing online, what sites are people visiting the most, what particular action are they doing the most on the internet. Like people in Nigeria, you may discover that all they are doing is just being about Big Brother in Nigeria. Now, you may complain that, oh, there are other better things for them to focus on, but that's what they are focusing on. So you need to find a way to take advantage of that. But you cannot even take advantage if you don't know that that's what they are focusing on. So getting information, considering the trend, the structure, understand the structure and direction of the local economy. Now, CBN is giving a lot of loans out. If you want to be a rice farmer, there's a loan for you. You want to plant sugarcane, there's a loan for you. If you want to, there are so many things that CBN, we'll still get to that, is in my other slide. But you need to understand the structure of your economy, because we are importing everything. And that's why CBN is ready to give they are giving Dangote dollar at very ridiculous prices and making it available to him, literally like giving him, so that it can solve the problem of importation. So you need to understand where your economy is, where it is going, what's the direction of the economy, what's the global trend. The trend is we cannot continue to export our crude because people are going to clean energy. So we need to start using our crude locally. All those years of just exporting crude and getting cash is going, because other countries are switching away from using crude. They are now going to solar, they're going to wind, they are going to so many other electric vehicles. So they're not going to require our product as much as possible. So we need to start using it. And that's why government is supporting Dangote. That's why they're saying that we should start using gas for our cars, that people should start converting their cars to gas that can run on gas or diesel or petrol, because people are not using those things. The days of we converting to LNG and selling are going, because the prices are dropping every day. So what is the government now say? Okay, let's make use of those things locally. So you need to observe those trends. Government is they are giving loans, billions of naira, to companies that want to in the gas business. That companies that want to, even yesterday, the president Muhammadu Buhari still said that they are not going to give anybody money, dollar, to import food or fertilizer. You know, he's very keen on agriculture. So you know that you have a president that's ready to do anything on agriculture to make sure that we are self-sufficient and reliable in agriculture. That is a market to go into, because agriculture is even like the mainstay of the economy, apart from crude. And so the government of the day is very particular about it. So if you can find one or two things to do in agri, rice is there, sugarcane is there, you know, tomato is there. There are so many things that government is ready to in the agri space that you should be looking at.
Anybody, yeah?
Please mute everyone, please. Madam Bolutife. So government, the direction of the government is you have to understand it, the local economy, the Lagos state government, what are they trying to do? Even your households in Nigeria, where are we moving towards? Now that the lockdown is here, students are at home, people are working from home, where is the economy going? People need the internet to get connected to the world, to continue to study. Students need the internet to continue to study. Most people, my wife, she's still working from home. So she needs constant internet, constant light. So if you can provide solar to people in this season, you will be in market. If you can, you know, find a way to partner with maybe some of these sell some of these data, you will be in business. You know, what are businesses doing? Businesses are trying to restructure. They're trying to see how they can work with their staffs at home. You know, they are trying to do a lot of things. So you need to look at all these things and understand what they are doing for you to now know where the opportunities are, and you know, get an idea and develop it into an opportunity, or know what the opportunities are presently. What's the flow of measure? What's the flow of money? And you can follow it and get it into your direction. Understand the direction of business policy. This business policy is just like CAMA, the CAMA that the previous presenter just told us. CAMA is meant for small business people. Government did it to consider the small business people. And in fact, there are other ones that they did. This finance bill that they did recently about VAT, that some people don't even need to pay VAT. The small businesses, their VAT they increase VAT for the big businesses, and I think they reduced or maintained for the small businesses. Government is doing things to encourage small and medium scale companies. You need to know what those things are. And thank God for the previous session, at least it was able to break down all those things. Before, you cannot register a company in Nigeria as a sole person. Now, if you want to register a business name, you can before. But now, if you can register a business corporation, a limited liability company, as one person, you don't need to have other people. They are trying to encourage people, because, you know, when you want to register with people, so that you are not forced into an alliance that you are not sure of. You can say, oh, just because I need someone, you just put somebody on your registration and the person becomes a problem to you. So they are trying to encourage and liberalize the market in such a way that you can create your businesses and all that, and remove some restrictions on it. So we need to understand those things, get those information as policies are coming out, get those information and use it to your advantage. And that's what the big businesses do. They will, all this CAMA, finance bill, the budget is coming out, they will have a session to analyze. They will sit down with it, analyze it. How does it affect our business? How does it affect us as a going concern? How do we take advantage of it? What are the places where we can fall short of it, and how do we make up for it? That's what businesses do. And you, as a small business and as an individual, needs to do all those analyses to know, how will this thing affect me? How can I take advantage of these things? I know that the program on TV, BOI Weekly, where they show companies that they support. And so you need to get to know more about all these programs so that you can know, how do they give loans to all these people? How can your company also get these loans? You know, and how can you be on their good side? You need to explore the value chains. Sometimes business, just like we said, opportunities are already proven, it's already out there. Things are already happening. So all you need to do is plug in where you feel you can make your own impact. All you need to do is just plug in somewhere. So there are companies today, they call them payment companies. They don't have a bank. All they do is they make it easier for you to pay, or for you to collect payments, by just creating an app where, okay, so I want to buy my electricity bill. The first take me to InterSwitch page, where I will pay on InterSwitch and go back to the stuff. Because all they are doing is enhancing the transaction. InterSwitch is just enhancing that transaction, that it makes it seamless. I don't have to say, okay, I need to first go to the bank, pay to the bank, then come online and enter the code into the app. No, from the app, it takes me to the bank. So I don't need to go out physically to the bank. I go to the bank on my phone. When I'm done with transaction, it seamlessly go back to the site and say, oh, this guy has paid, and he can continue with this transaction. You know, all they did there is to plug into that value chain, that, okay, this thing, it flows like this. So, but there's a break here because somebody, even you want to collect your transcript from school, and you go to their website. My school now, you go to the website, they will take you to the bank's page. From the bank's page, you go back to oh, you have paid, and they start processing your transcript or whatever you want. You know, so you explore the value chain. People from the farm now, farmers, after producing and all that, they need to find the markets. Sometimes the markets are in Europe, America. You can be the guy that looks for the market and get the farmer, buy from the farmer, sell to the market. Or you can be the processor, buy from the farmer, process it, sell to the market, sell abroad, So for every sector, there's a value chain that goes from beginning to the end customer. So explore areas in the value chain where there are inefficiencies, where things are not effective as they should be. Those are the places you can explore. And since it's an established opportunity, you will easily just plug in and get your money. That's what some of these payment companies are doing. all they are doing is just enhancing the whole transaction. That's why Flutterwave had a store. Like, okay, instead of you, when someone runs just on our store and you buy from them, you can even, if they don't give you what you want or something, you can register, you can report them to Flutterwave, and Flutterwave can take them out of the site or find a way to sanction them or get the money back for you. So, you know, they're exploring those inefficiencies and they're making it better. And for that, they're in business, making, doing transactions. I read recently that Paystack, that started a few years ago, they've done transactions more than $150 million, which is huge for a small company like that, you know. So these are ways of identifying opportunities. Let's go on. So we said, consider the global trend. You know, you hear that. And the thing about global trend is that it's always undulating. It goes up and down, because different governments, different policies, and all those things, they have effect, even different markets. So it will always go up and come down. That it is almost natural. As you can see here, Nigeria is one orange. If you see, it's almost following the other trend too, or going up, coming down, going up, coming down. It is almost natural. So you will always have seasons where the economy will not be doing so well, where it will be doing so well. So in fact, it's like the oil industry. The prices go up today, come down tomorrow, they go up today. So it's always going to be normal. You're not going to have an economy that is constantly going up. It will come down at a point. Even the US economy, the world economy, the emerging markets, they're all almost the same pattern. They may be different where they are on the table, but the patterns are the same. They are going up, coming down, going up, coming down. So, and the market has a way of putting itself. Everybody will always be within that range of going up, coming down region. So you check all these trends and you know where you can place yourself, where you can come in and where you can take advantage of the market. You know, even in a recession, there are opportunities. People are looking for dollar everywhere. Dollar is not readily available. That is opportunity for people to start doing things locally. Okay, so my company, usually we import the equipment that we use for our gas distribution. But now we have to get people locally to make it for us. Just ensure that they do the right things, that is safe and all that. But we have to do it locally now because we can't, the borders are closed. For the last 6 months, we've been trying to get an equipment and we can't get it. It's okay. We can't even get that to pay the manufacturer to bring it to us. So, okay, now, we have Naira. So get a local guy that has some experience that we can get somebody to make sure he does the right thing. And so those are opportunities locally that as people begin to find it hard to get things into the country, then they will find a way to get their things done here. As long as that thing is important and pertinent, they will always find a way to do it. So for you that you're in the market, for you to now know that, oh, these are opportunities. We are getting, people are not traveling in again. So a lot of things are happening. This COVID has even brought up a lot of opportunities. Now people are investing in healthcare. Like, oh, so we cannot travel. Even if you have all the money in the world, you cannot even travel. Some countries will not even allow you. If you are the president of another nation, they will not even allow you to enter their country at this time because of the COVID. Complete lockdown. So people are now rethinking that, oh, we need to invest in our health facilities. So health equipment now, they are hotcake. Everybody's buying, even churches are opening up, so they need to buy something to wash their hand. Those are opportunities that would come up. Those things now will start needing somebody to maintain them because they will start going bad and all those things. So you start need somebody who can do maintenance, replace, repair, all those things. So you need to start looking at what are the things that they will need to replace. What are the things they will, these are opportunities that are coming up. In a lot of ways, a lot of opportunities are coming. Even that's why the Nigerian government say, okay, we cannot just sell our crude. Let's start refining them. So they are giving opportunity for people to refine. If you want to, you think you are going to business, they are supporting people in so many ways to find a way to refine. So opportunities are bound by watching what is happening globally. All those trends, up, down, are opportunities for people to take advantage, especially business people. Yeah, so some of the global trends. So he said global liquidity seeking opportunities. Now, there are some people that have money and they just want to, they are looking for where to invest it. Billions of dollars, just looking for good investment. So it's for you to place yourself in such a way that these people, and that's why the tech, if you look at the tech space, money is flowing in every now and then. Before you know, you hear that these people have raised $20 million. Before you know it, before you know it, you hear that people have raised $40 million. They raised $10 million, $5 million, Series A, Series B. You know, tech has even opened that up. A lot of investment is coming to Africa through tech because that's the future. And so if you put yourself in that stuff, opportunities will come, investment will come. Even in this market, there's a company now that does, they can help you do your DNA sampling, or they call it something like that. So they can test for COVID. In this COVID season, they were making money because they are building for state government, they have partnership, people invested in them. I'm trying to remember the name of the company, One Health something. Can't remember, but One Health something. I even know someone that joined the company, you know, paying people good salaries because investment is coming and they are really, this is their time. This is their time. People now see the importance of health and all that. So in this recession, a lot of companies have come up. In this recession, some people who are garment manufacturing, making clothes and all that, most of them turn into making health products, making health clothes for doctors, for nurses, even for face masks and all that. And they are making money, even more than what they were doing from their initial businesses too. So if you check what is going on, there are always opportunities in those challenges. There are always opportunities in those challenges. And it's just to look at them and take advantage. Just like investment into health, technology, and education sector has increased this year. A lot of people are getting investment into health, if you have a health service system or health business, technology business, education business that you have put in a very nice structure, there's a lot of funding and investment available and waiting for you to receive. So these are ways of seeing the opportunities in the market. Every challenge you see is an opportunity. Every challenge you see is an opportunity. See Dangote. Government said, oh, we don't have money to do some road and all that. So they said, oh, any company that has money, they can go and fix the road. Dangote that is selling cement said, oh, I want to fix the road. And he's now using his cement to fix the road. After doing that, it will not pay tax for some years to recover the cost of the loan. You see how it works for him. He's producing cement. He wants to sell cement. You know, so I'll come and fix roads. So he's now using his products to fix those roads. So he's making, he has double gains because he's going to sell the cement for making of the roads at normal price that you make money on. And so after doing the road now, you can even do it at beyond normal price. You will now stop paying loan. You will now stop paying tax for the number of years that he recovers that money. It's like he's on a tax holiday. So all the money he's making, he will just not pay any tax on it. And you know that kind of stuff. So the whole idea is there are opportunities in the market. Every challenge is an opportunity. The fact that our roads are bad, our health sector is not up to par, that our educational system is not up to par, those are the opportunities. There are challenges, but there are opportunities. That's why you have the Calebs of this world. That's why you have some of these big schools that collect huge money because they know people that value education will not want their children to go to some of these schools. So you don't have to complain. Just put yourself in a way that you can also do something valuable that can afford those schools and all that. Yeah, if we can do better as a country, we can do better. Let's do better as a company. Let's government look for ways to fix these things and all that. But don't keep complaining. Find a way to do what you can do too as well. Find a way to also take advantage of these opportunities, these challenges, to turn them into opportunities and make the best out of it. And that's the only way we can get better. If after a while now government is saying that maybe people are not even going to public schools again because because there are a lot of people actually doing stuff that are even free online, that they are trying to get people, that this slum to school guy is doing it for students from people from the slum school, that are from slums that attend lecture online. He's doing it for that. So if we have people coming up with those challenges and opportunities, and there are different agencies abroad and everywhere funding them, if we have people coming up with these solutions, then it will get to a time that government will have to rethink and say, people are actually taking their destiny to their own hand, and we need to do better as a government, But the whole lesson is not to start complaining and find a way around every challenge, which is the stuff of entrepreneurs. So these are the sectors, the structure of the local economy. You can see that Nigeria is basically an agricultural country, because in fact, sometimes there's a time that they were saying 70% of our population works in agri, because either in subsistence agriculture, these people that plant just to eat, plant corn, harvest and eat, or people that at least plant enough to sell and all that. Then we also trade, produce cocoa, produce this, we trade, we just sell and buy and sell. Trading is buying and selling. Now we're beginning to have sizable portion of ICT in our company, and manufacturing to 9%, oil and gas 9%, real estate 7%, and others are 21%. That's the SME and all that. So if you divide Nigeria, you see that this is around how the economy works, how the local economy is structured. Now it's not for you to move in and say, okay, where can I come in? Where are the opportunities here? Like I said, government has so many funds for agriculture. Even in this COVID period, they have so many funds. The ones you can borrow from NIMRA, NIPSA, the ones you can borrow from BOI, the ones you can, there's a fund I saw yesterday, Survivor Fund, SME Survivor Fund for cab owners, for taxi drivers, Uber drivers, and so many other people. I just saw it yesterday. So they are doing a lot. You need to keep getting information about what's going on in the local economy, know the structure, and know how to plug in, and you literally be seeing the opportunities. So this is just showing the direction of the local economy. Just like I said, there's always a trend going up and down. It's just unfortunate that Nigeria goes a lot down before it comes up again, then go down, then before we come up again. But even America goes down. There are always recessions, there are times of down and up. But the thing is, for an entrepreneur, you can actually, there are companies that are surviving, that have survived over 100 years, 50 years, even in Nigeria, so they have survived all the downtime and uptime. So in fact, that's why a good business. A good business will be structured in such a way that even in the downtime, you're still able to maintain your business. You are still able to maintain what you are doing. You may not be making a lot of profit, but you are making enough to sustain the business. Like people are saying that this year, 2020, because of COVID and all that, is yet to just be alive. No, some people are making huge money this year. Some people are making huge money this year. In this COVID period, that people are shutting down. People are making money online. There's a lady I read her story. She just resigned her job before the shutdown of the economy. She was at home when they shut down, that everybody should stay at home. Then she thought, what can I do? Then she started doing a training online for how people can make money on Instagram and all those things. And the money she was making training people online and even helping people to set up accounts and all that was more than what she was making as an employed person. So she left her job and she was feeling miserable that did I resign at the wrong time and all that, because she wanted to go into a business, or I think she got another job, but those people had to say, sorry, we can't take you at this time because of the pandemic. And she now thought, what can I do? Then she went into, I can train people online. She just tried it. Like, she just made a poster and posted it on her WhatsApp, and people were responding. Fortunately, she took it on Instagram and people were responding, paying to attend her class. From there, paying, they are now saying, okay, please help me do this. Businesses are now saying, please let me set up my business on Instagram during this lockdown, because everybody wants to sell online. And now she's making so much money compared to when she was earning a salary. So you see, when you say, everybody, we are just locked down at home, everybody's watching movie. It's not everybody, it's you that's watching movie. It's you that is not doing it. Other people are finding other ways. When somebody cannot eat and cannot sleep, knowing that I don't have money, so they would think, they won't even have time to watch movie. So it is now depending on you and to knowing that, this is what is going on in this economy. In this economy, people are making money. Logistics company were in business. People were sitting at home ordering things. people, logistics companies are moving everywhere, going around there and there to deliver to this, deliver to that. People are still signing contracts, doing this. Logistics companies are helping the economy to move. Even the government could not shut down logistics. They said, let essential goods be moving. So Indomie was selling like wildfire. Nestle to Milo, milk, they were selling like wildfire. While people were on lockdown, they were making serious money. So this the challenge of the moment, the health challenge, the pandemic, is also an opportunity for people. It's just taking advantage, having that mindset of every challenge is an opportunity, and taking advantage of, and knowing you can do some data. What are people interested in? Can get some data to know what are people interested in, what is trending. Yeah, there's a Google trend where you know what is trending, not just political or societal affairs. You can know about goods and services, what people are buying, what people are selling. You know, you can know about all those things. You search for them online. Even Nigerian, there's a Nigerian statistics website where you can get what we import, what we export, the goods and the value. So you know the amount that is going out of the economy, coming in, and all those things. So if you do the research and you try to understand what is going on in the economy, and people are trying these days. Now you know that every month they keep telling us, okay, this month Glo has lost this number of customers, MTN has gained this number of customers. These are the number of people who are on the internet. These are the number of people who are using mobile phone. Almost 100 million people using mobile phone. Almost 100 million people using mobile phone. So so you can know that's like your market. What can you do? Sell to people on their mobile phone. What can you do that people can buy and do all those things on their phones? So these are things you can understand that will open your mind to the opportunities that are in the market. Yeah. So another very key thing is to know where the government is spending money. So you need to look at their budget. Look at budget. What is government interested in, and what are they willing to spend their money on? That government is borrowing money to spend money on agriculture. They are borrowing money to do our railways. Now, I'm sure if you live in Lagos, you must have encountered 1 or 2 times where they will close some section of the road where you're passing. And I went by Agege the other time. I saw that they've done an overhead railway line. That area, when I was working in Ikeja, I used to pass that area. It was just one road like this. There was a train track there. But now that train track has been brought overhead. I was shocked because now they've done an underground where people can pass, then the train is passing on top of you. I say in this same Nigeria, in this same Lagos, things are changing. Things are changing. So you just need to be aware of what government is interested in, what they are paying, what they are willing, what they are spending money on. The key projects and initiatives that is going on. Intervention fund, that special intervention fund for homegrown school feeding program. These are 500 billion. That's huge money. The Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Industry, they have a lot of these things that they are putting their money into, and you should find out about these things and know where you want to plug in or where your business can plug in and do better. So, these ones are data. You need to follow the data. Follow what states are spending money on, sectors, origin, who are we doing businesses, what are we using. So these are data that we can look at. And this section has been follow the money. Follow the money. Where is government spending? Where is investment going into? Where are states investing? Where are investors investing their money into? Follow the money. What do you see? Total mining, quarry, manufacturing. So many people are trying to manufacture. A lot of companies, solar too is coming on. Dangote is doing a lot. Gas, power, is doing a lot. Cement and all those things. And you can also do that. So you need to ask yourself, what do you see in this economy? What do you see in this economy? Where is the direction of the economy, and how do you place yourself in such a way that you can take advantage of the opportunities in the environment? And these are opportunities, they are not even ideas because they are already existing. You can see the value chain, you can see where everything is. We import crude oil, we import refined products, whereas we export crude oil. That's an opportunity. You can set up a small mini refinery if you have the fund, or you can do other things. There are synthetic ways of producing alternatives to some of these things that you need to find out and know how to go about it. There are local, so some creams will probably will not be coming in like before, because of course because of the closure of the economy. So there are other ways of making those things locally and ensuring that people, even some soaps that we import before, now the local companies will make money because people have to buy from them. And so they just need to upgrade their facility in such a way that they can compete with those other ones. You know, where is the money going? What do you see? The question is, what do you see? This was in 2019, the amount of money that was lent to SMEs. So it's not true when you say, oh, the banks are not lending people money. No, you maybe the commercial banks are not lending people money, but there are other banks. There are microfinance banks. In fact, there are a lot of all these small people that are willing to borrow you money. Even your GT Bank will send you SMS if you are a salary person and you take a salary in account. So they will send you that, oh, you can borrow up to 5 million now and all those. Those are opportunities that were not available before. And those are opportunities that you can take advantage of and you pay back every month, you know. So people, you can actually have access to money in this economy if you want to. If you want to. Depends on how you see it and where you are looking at. So these are some of the government policies that you can take advantage of. They were giving trader money. That the time they're giving trader money, you know, now we're having credit reports. So with credit reports, that means you're a credible person. If you have a report, it means you have borrowed money and you have paid back. So with those reports, they can now use it to, oh, this person is credible, your credit rating is good. And so people will now be able to borrow you more money. And so these are the opportunities in the system that are creating, there's a time that you can do your business registration for just 5,000 naira. Just 5,000 naira. Government is creating tax and investment incentives. You know, like I said, the financial bill, it was created so that small businesses can, you know, you can have some tax holidays, you can have reduction in your tax if your income is between maybe 1 million, 1 and 10 million, 1 million and 10 million. You know, they have different options to encourage you to grow, you know. So these are the policies that government is in. CBN micro schemes. There's a agricultural credit guarantee scheme. This NIMSRA is also what they did during the lockdown. You can collect money loan from them. You know, SMEs Anchor program. That's about agriculture, where I think the Anchor borrower is for farmers that, you know, you can guarantee sale of your product. If you produce this thing, you can guarantee sale. Government will buy it from you. So you have the SME, small SMEs enterprise credit guarantee scheme as well. There's a national gas expansion program, which is one I talked about that you can use, that we want to start using gas in our cars. So government is, you know, is a program of government that they want to use to encourage people. And there's a 10 billion naira fund that each company can collect 10 billion naira for if you want to go into this program. So it's just for you to put together a program, a proposal, get it to CBN or BOI, and you can get some things. There are so many intervention funds which are on the next slides. So you have the BOI, CBN intervention fund, cassava bread fund, cement fund, cottage fund. You know, you see all these funds. They are all available in BOI. You just need to, you know, graduate entrepreneurship fund. If you're a graduate, you want to be an entrepreneur, they will train you and give you money at the end of the training. In this Nigeria, is available. They are doing it. It's not a story, you know. So you see all these products, the BOI that they have, youth entrepreneurship support, waste recycling, you know. So many opportunities in the market, so many, that meat production and processing product program. So if you want to process meat, you know, fashion fund, cottage agricultural processing fund. So many funds that you can take advantage of and take to your, even at the rare and not sure, okay, agro mechanization, so block molding, you know, a lot of things which you just need to be aware of and see how you can take advantage. So the Rice and Cassava Intervention Fund, the Sugar Development Council Fund, you know, the National Program of Food Security Fund. So where, and you know, now this season, food security is very important. That's why the president was saying that he's not going to give people money to import food. That we need to be able to say that we can feed ourselves. So government is very keen on that. That Nigeria should be able to feed itself. So government is ready to put money into people who are going to farming and agriculture, and even guarantee them that we'll buy this product from you at this price, or that if there are issues, maybe you have pests, like some flooding happened some time ago, some people lost it. Government will give them money to, you know, to start all over again. Well, I'm not somebody that likes to rely on government, but if there are opportunities, we should try to take advantage of them. But try as much as possible to do things for yourself. Don't rely on government. But where the opportunities lie, take advantage of them, please. This is why I said about the IT, where a lot of jobs, a lot of money are coming in. In fact, IT is employing more now. Apart from agriculture, I think it should be ICT, because a lot of people are now coding, product designers, product managers, software developers, you know, software testers. A new economy is coming in the ICT industry, and is coming in huge and massive. So it's also another sector with very strong fundamentals that if you get into, you're almost sure of huge benefits. So some of the we can look, like I was saying, that the ICT sector accounts for 9% of Nigeria's $500 billion GDP in 2017. The sector has doubled in size in over the past 7 years. There are over 163 million mobile phone users. So that's like 163 million customers. Imagine SMS from this, having a product that these people will send SMS to, and you make maybe 1 naira or 5 naira or 10 naira on it. You know, you're already in the billions. You're already in the billions. So 60% are active mobile internet subscribers. So 60% of these will be about 70 something million, or let's say 80 million of this. Should be more than 80, because 50% of 163 is 80 something, 81.5 million. So 60% will be about, let's say, 90 million people or more, or let's say 100 million people are active mobile users. So they use their phone for apps and for other things. So you see, it's a lot of market. 58% of the adult population have access to financial institutions and have mobile phones. There are about 23 active technology hubs across the country. Hubs where people go to learn how to code, even do hackathon, and other things, compete among themselves to be the best, and also grow companies and support those companies to grow. So the ICT sector is looking very good in the country now. And you know that there was a time that I think a year or two ago, and they said that the money we are making from crude oil is not up to the money we are making from people sending money in. The strength of the Nigerian economy is actually the people we have abroad, brothers and sisters, and people working and have sisters there that they send money to. That the money they send is more than what the government makes from selling crude oil. So the labor market, our human capital, is actually the strength of our economy. And even the services that we enter, people that are working here, who are living here but are working for companies abroad, the Andelas and all that have made that possible, where you can work here and you live here but you're working for companies in the US, in the UK, and other countries. And so that's also a huge part of our economy, which is what the digital economy encourages. I say the digital economy is projected to generate $88 billion and create 3 million jobs over the next 10 years. Yeah, because a lot of people are learning data science, software engineering, product management, and other things. And those are ready to create the Andelas, the Paystack, Flutterwave, so many other companies too that are doing very well in the ICT sector. And so it's projected that sector is growing massively, and if you can get into it, it will be a very good one. So when we talk about explore value chain, these are the value chains that these guys are exploring. Fintech. Flutterwave, Paystack, InterSwitch, all these guys are just exploring. They are in the established market. The market is there already. The opportunities are there already. They're just, plugging in. E-commerce, Jumia, we all know what Jumia did during this lockdown. Konga, Cleantech, there's this recycle point where if you give your waste to them, you get some points that you can use to buy credit or even buy electricity bill. Tech company, you have Live Bank, HMOs are coming up, a lot of opportunity in the market. Media, you have Iroko TV, the EduTech, Andela. So Andela trains people. When you join them, they'll give you a laptop and they start paying you monthly to learn how to code. And when you finish coding, you go to different countries or companies to work for them. Prep Class, Tutor.ng, a lot of all these companies, and these are all they are doing is to explore the value chain, see where the opportunities are. They are just, some of them are just like Uber on this logistics. See these guys, Kobo. So what Kobo is doing, Kobo 360, what they do is that they have a platform just like Uber, where trucks, so you need a truck to help you take your goods from Lagos to Ibadan. Just go on their platform and you will be able to get trucks that will take your goods. MaxNG they do logistics. They were doing bike hailing before, where you can, like a Okada that you can take on your app. But now most of them are restructuring into logistics, so they can help you deliver your goods here and there. So just some insight in scaling your business. Every time God takes you to a new level, He promotes you from the top to the bottom. The explanation is that, when you leave high school as a senior, you enter into college as a freshman, you leave your secondary school as a senior. But when you get into university, you become Jambite. They call it Jambito. It means you are Olodo, you are just coming in. So, you meet another senior, you're starting all over again. So that's what it means, that when it takes you to a new level, it promotes you from the top to the bottom, because you have to start to learn all over again, because you have to learn to grow into a new level of living. For you to adapt in the university, you have to now learn new things and all that, and continue to grow, and you now graduate. When you graduate again, you want to do your PhD, then you are still an Olodo, because the professors and the PhDs are the masters. You now need to learn all those things. You marry, you are new in the marriage, then as you grow, have children and all that, there are different levels that you need to get. So as business people too, sometimes when God promotes you, you go to that level where you need to learn and relearn everything again. In fact, this age, what you need to learn to do is to unlearn, learn and relearn most of the time. You need to constantly change and evolve what you think and what you know, because things are changing. What was not possible before are now becoming possible. A lot of new realities are now available. So you need to constantly learn and grow into those new things so that you can grow. Because as you grow as an individual, your business will grow. As your business grows, your lifestyle will increase and you will become better. So one of the tweets from Pastor Okwoji, this was in 2018, say many small organizations and churches who desire to grow and are faithful in prayer and every other spiritual activity, yet no result. Being is not wrong, but if you desire growth and no result, it is because you organize, behave, lead and manage like a small organization. So like we're saying, it's all in the mind. It's all in the mind. And it is how you do your stuff. You see, he said, because you organize, you behave, you live like a small organization. You need to ask, what are the big organizations doing? There is a book I read, Good to Great. So it's about how companies can become, just from being a good company to becoming a great company. The guy wrote a lot of other books about how you can leapfrog and all that. But one of the things he mentioned is that, see, great companies build their people. Great companies, good companies that become great companies, build their people, and they ensure that those people lead. You call out most of these organizations. Okay, imagine a company like Microsoft, started by Bill Gates, but when he was leaving, this guy that is the CEO of Microsoft now has been with the company from almost the day one. If you check that book, that's what it says, that you promote leaders from within. It's not that they went outside to go and bring a CEO. they trained their people and made them be able to, and this guy, this new CEO of Microsoft, has taken the company to another level that Bill Gates don't even know. And I'm sure if this guy was the CEO when the likes of Apple, the likes of Google, Amazon are coming up, he would have done a lot more. Because what happened was Microsoft were stuck in the past because maybe the owner, this guy said this is what he wanted. So they're just doing things that they were known for. But this guy came in and they started doing other things. Even their core products became better. Their Microsoft Office became better. You know, now they're doing cloud computing. They have Microsoft Cloud. They have this, they have that, and it's now a better company due to even Apple. The founder died. The new guy, also from the company that they started together, he has taken it to the next level. So, you know, you need to start doing. You need to ask the question: what are big companies doing? What are great companies doing that we need to do? And just as the previous speaker said, start to organize, start to prioritize, start to organize and structure your business in a way that it will grow. There are some loans you cannot get if your business is not a limited liability company. There are some loans, there are some deals you cannot do if you don't have your tax, if you don't do your tax audit and do your get your tax clearance certificate, ensure that you are paying your tax, ensure that you are paying your pension for your staff, ensure that you have health insurance. There are some businesses you cannot get. And so you cannot grow to that level if you don't organize yourself now and start putting things in place so that, you know, then the growth will come. I remember Bishop Oyedepo, and I think Pastor Pojo said it too, that see, if you want to grow, you grow in your mind and you start putting those things in place. Do things as if you're a big company. Then the big opportunities will come. Do things as if, put your structure in order in such a way that when people come, they will be able to, when they ask you, you know, there's some people, when you want to do business, they'll say, do you have a bank account? I'm like, why would a company not have a bank account? You're surprised that some people, they say they are having a business, but when you want to pay them, ask you to pay into their personal account, then you are not running a business. You have to have a business account. That is, a business is like a living person, has a life of his own that is different from the owner, or, you know, because that's why the law see a business as a living person. So that's why you must have things that you put in place that you'll be able to, you know, you'll be able to, and to allow you to grow. So leaders who scale do so because they take deliberate steps to confront their shortcomings and become the leaders their organizations need them to be. It's all about growth. Learning learning to grow, having the ability to constantly work on yourself and grow. And that's how the growth will come. These are insights in scaling your business. You can see, say, factors hindering growth of formal enterprises. Now, if you look at these factors, and look at this, the problem is one in red, no problem is one in green. You discover that a lot more, they don't really have problem. Just a few of them have problem. Formal enterprises. So all these things, unstable government policy, high tax rates, strict business registration process, interest rate, they don't really stop people who are serious. If you are serious, you know that these are conditions that you must work around. Now, for informal sectors, yeah, the one that really have a problem is access to finance, which government is solving, and a lot of things are in the market to solve them. So it's really not a problem. This is what people will say, oh, these are things hindering my growth, informal businesses. But really, they really don't have a problem. The real problem may be access to finance. And sometimes if you organize yourself well, apart from my job, I do a business on the side. Most of the time, the client pay for the job we want to do. I do gas pipeline construction. I sell gas equipment to companies that need it. And most of the time, they will pay me 70, 80% before I even do the job. Just to give them a quote, they pay the money. I use their money to buy the product. And I'm waiting for the 20%, 30% that is my profits. And I've already made a little profit on the one they paid, of course. So it depends on the business you do and how you do it and what you do. So some of these things, they are not really problems if you know what the market is and you know how to move, find your way, and you have integrity. It's not that they give you money today and they can't find you. There are companies that they keep calling me back In fact, they'll go on and say, hey, we need this, because we've done business with them. They've not had any issue. What we sold to them, they're still using it presently, but they just want another, and maybe they are growing for their other branches. So, if you do things right, things can, if people can trust you. There's a man I met I was telling him that somebody just transferred money to him. The person is in abroad, just sent him 9 million. And the person said, people have duped him before. But he saw this guy and believed him and sent him money to him. He's abroad, this guy is working for him here. So if people can trust you, sometimes finance will not be a problem. Even if your friends, your relative can trust you, some of this finance will not, but you've borrowed money before, you didn't pay back. You can't go back to get another one. So these are some of the things that can hinder, really. We need to build that credibility that people can trust and rely on us. Yeah, we are almost getting to the end. Wow, time has gone. I didn't know. We're almost getting. So these are resources that we'll share this slide so you can see some of the sources. This one about Harvard Business School saying startups that last. Startups that last. So you see, like the book I mentioned, maybe I'll get those things across. I'll add them to this and get it across. That's what they do, the things they do that you can start imbibing. And is what the previous speaker said. Get your accounting right, get your tax auditing right, pay your tax, structure your business in such a way that you can, receive loans, receive grants, do your documentations, make sure they are right. Then you are setting yourself for growth, and growth will come. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think we're at the end. Are we all here?
Yes, they are here. Let me allow them to unmute themselves now. Thank you so much, Shola. Thank you. They will unmute and say thank you themselves.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Sir. God bless you.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you
very
much.
The opportunities.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Shoma, over to you.
Questions and answers.
Yes. So, Shoma.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Mr. Shola. So we are going to be taking the Q&A now. So if you have questions, please let me know so that I can allow you to ask your questions, or you can drop it in the chat. I'm not sure there were any questions before now, actually. I've checked. There are no questions in the chat room before now. So if you have questions, you can put them on the chat, or you can just raise your hand or something else, or just type in the chat room that you have a question, and we'll give you the floor. If you have questions, send it. Oh, this was just so clear. Start to finish. Oh, well, I just say, are you saying something? Do we have questions?
It's a whole lot. We are trying to digest the whole thing.
An overload of information. Are we having information overload? We'll be all right. Don't worry. We can always go back to watch the videos or just listen and just digest them in bits, and all of that. Okay, I'm still checking. Is there anybody raising their hand? Any question? So do we safely assume that we don't have questions right now?
I have three people raise their hands. I don't know if they raised it for questions.
Okay, I can see
3 hands are raised.
Oduayo is raising. I can see a hand raised for Oduayo. So can you please unmute on Oduayo?
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Shola. So it's not a question per se. It's just a comment, just a humorous comment. So myself and Shola were on the same middle managers group during the first the first, and I think Shola cheated us on that group. We had no idea Shola was so full of content. He did. I'm reporting him to the Covenant Capital group so that he can be punished.
Shola, what do we do to you?
Odu, let me see your face.
This fight, you cannot settle it.
Odu, let me see your face.
I'm not sure we'll settle this fight here today. But it's all right, it's been noted. Shola has noted it.
Sorry, Odu, the thing is, I'm always very busy. So, in fact, this session, my Madam Joker was running after me every time. I just, in fact, I have to be somewhere. I just have to make this time to ensure that, So it's not easy time to manage the time. I'm sorry. Eh?
Too bad.
Okay, Odoye, we're sorry. Okay, we also have a hand raised for Toby Babalola. So Toby, please, Joker, you can unmute Toby. So
okay.
I'll take this question. Toby Babalola.
Toby, you can unmute. Ha! Mama Chidima, please help us mute too.
Okay, Toby, please.
Toby, you're free. You can talk.
All right. Good morning. So I don't have more of a question, but just to commend the speaker. Really, I've actually gotten and learned a lot from what he said. But okay, in addition to that, let me just ask a question regarding marketing. So most businesses actually have this challenge with respect to marketing, getting clients on board. Like, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Toby.
Okay, so I want to know, is there a one-size-fits-all procedure for getting clients? Sometimes we hear some businesses saying that they have a client base of over 1,000 people, some businesses 100 people. So how are these things done? How best can we get our clients with respect to, let's take for instance an e-commerce business now. So how do you reach out to clients? So yeah, that's my question. And thank you, sir, for the wonderful and excellent presentation. Same thing too with the first speaker in the morning. Thanks.
Okay. So e-commerce business, you have actually, e-commerce is actually in a better space, but you need to know where Nigerians buy a lot of things. They do a lot of e-commerce now from their Instagram page, Facebook. So you just need to advertise on those platforms and make sure that you serve your people well, and they will refer you to other people. So, but for e-commerce, it depends on the kind of good you are selling. On Instagram, on Facebook, you can target your customers. You can advertise and tell them the kind of people you want to see your advert. And of course, when they see it, when they need it, people that need your product. And of course, they've mastered that. Facebook, Instagram, they've mastered that. They know people, of course, people that need your product will click on it. And so they keep referring your advert to them until they buy. So depending on the product you're selling and how you do the target marketing on those platforms, it's actually easy to do. But you may need to sit with a marketing consultant, content creator, so that they will give you good content that you can advertise, and so you can get it. But if you are in e-commerce, you are in the 21st century business, and that's actually one of the easiest business to target people and get customers. I hope I'm able to answer that.
The last question was about.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, so I have Ade being paid, Adeleke. I can see your hand raised. So please, Joke, unmute Ade being paid.
Someone is asking a question in the column, in the group chat.
Okay, how can, from Laura, how can we protect our ideas? We hear of banks and some organizations calling for people to share their ideas, but a promise to finance the best ideas only for the bank and organization to later use your idea as their own. So how can we protect or preserve our ideas so it's not stolen from us?
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to answer that?
That is always an issue in this kind of environment. Is hard. So I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know how lawyers is something probably I will have to talk with some lawyers to find a very good answer. If you can patent your idea, if you can patent or maybe trademark or anything. But the thing is, rule of thumb, one told me is that, see, idea is different, implementation is different. Although the banks being strong and big probably will have the money to implement the idea, but they may not implement it the way you will implement it because they are not you. And of course, you coming up with the idea shows there's something about you. So I would say, don't give up, continue to do your best and continue to share your idea with people. And one way or the other, you still get people that will fund and support your idea. So imagine Pharaoh, Joseph, when he told Pharaoh that, see, oh, this is what your dreams means and all that. And said, you need to get a man that will implement it. Who is the better man to implement than you? But yeah, go and implement it. So depending on how you project your idea, and you will still get people that will support you, that would help you in the implementation of the idea. But if you can get lawyers or people to help you to protect your idea, maybe before you share the idea, you have something in place like a non-compete or non-circumvent of there are different agreements that you can sign, so that if maybe in future you discover that somebody has taken your idea, you can find something to protect yourself. But the best form of idea is implementation. Idea is just an idea. If you can implement it, that's the major stuff. So find a way to implement your idea. And see, it's a free market. It's a free market. People start something. You can also start something. So the person that implements the most, that is innovative and supporting of the customer, is one that will win the market.
Okay, thank you, sir. Adebimpe, do you want to ask your question? Adebimpe. Okay.
Yes, I've muted her. She's not muted.
Okay.
Adebimpe, are you still there?
Are you still here? Okay. Not sure she's here anymore. So that's it. Laura, do you still have a question or? Okay, that's been answered. Mr. Shola, they want to share your email address with them so that if they have, more questions or further clarifications, they can always reach you. So please share your email address with us.
Oh, okay. So they will send it to you, then you can send it to me, Abby.
I will share your email address with them so they can send the questions directly to you.
Oh, okay. Not the problem.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, Adebimpe said I'm talking. We cannot hear you. I cannot hear you.
You cannot type it, Adebimpe, if you are still there. Because, and you are not, or check your audio.
Yeah, maybe you should just type the question.
Okay, and if you can't type his email address, okay.
Okay,
let me.
So I think that's it. Those are the questions that we have so far.
Okay, I'll paste his email address here, so we can all send it to, if you have more questions. Okay, his email address is here. It's on the chat, so you can all send him If you have more questions, you can send me your questions. Right? Okay, on that note, Shola, I'd like to say on behalf of every single one of us, say a big thank you, and then you guys, okay, unmute yourselves and just like let's send him first. Let's send him first. So we don't have to.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you
Wonderful.
very much, sir.
Thank you, Shola.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Please feel free to send him all your messages. He has no choice. If Alex sent him for you, if Alex sent him for you, feel free to reach out to him to send him your questions. Okay, Shola, thank you so much. At this
Thank
note,
you. Thank you.
we can release you. Thank you for spending your time today with us. Yeah.
I appreciate the
thank you so much.
opportunity. I appreciate the opportunity too. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you
Chairman,
so much.
hold
Bye.
Bye.
on. Bye.
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 Bye. See you later.
Bye bye.
Bye, Shola. Thank you. Wow. And on that note, we've had two very powerful sessions. Chairman, let me also digest it. Let me hand over to you to continue continuation.
Okay. Just some few comments and maybe announcements. Thank you everyone for being here once again. I want to believe that. Let me. Hello. I think you're trying to say something. Okay. I want to believe that it's been such an insightful time for you this morning, both in the first section and in the second section. Hey, mute yourself. So earlier this week, we had some very wonderful things going on in the group. So if you have not joined our WhatsApp group yet, please try and join. The link has been shared with us via mail. But please, if you have the link, you can also just paste it here for us in this chat room so that those people who haven't joined the WhatsApp group can also join. Because you're missing a lot if you're not in that WhatsApp group. The love that is always flowing in that group is out of this world. The love gang is out of this world. So earlier this week also, last week, Joke mentioned that we're supposed to choose a name for the class. And then also we're supposed to choose like a class captain and an assistant class captain. And I want to really thank you guys for the coordination and how you were able to go through that election. See, an election was held like on the WhatsApp group. Great. It's so amazing. So we had the election earlier this week, and now we have a class captain, we have an assistant class captain, and we have a name for this class. Guys, you just need to Awesome. Just need to give it to yourself. So yes, I hope. So yes, our class captain, Feyi Majek. So please, if you're here, just turn on your video and just say hello to us so that everybody. I know somebody was complaining on the group that we don't know anybody on this group, and they were not so. In fact, they didn't know how to come up with nominations because they can't place a face to the names, and some people are not TCN members and all of that. But it's fine, just like he mentioned in the group that we are going to do all of those. So I'm sure from now on, the class captain and assistant class captain will coordinate all of those activities, and you'll be able to introduce yourselves and be able to place the faces to some of those names as well. So class captain, they just give us.
Faye is not here. Okay, not here.
So what about
yes.
Kwebuka? So
Wholesome is here. Wholesome is here. Wholesome, come out. Wholesome is here.
Wholesome.
reverse the.
Wholesome. Who was here, and I thought he was going to say a few words.
Is he muted? Okay.
No. Wholesome, are you still here? I also told him I was going to say a few words and address his people. Okay.
Is he here?
Or did he run to go and make lunch for us?
Okay.
I guess he's not here.
Okay. Okay, so thank you, Simisola. So Simisola has shared the WhatsApp link on the chat room. So please you can join the WhatsApp group through that link, and we can continue further communications on that group. Joke is going to share the recording. So yes, we have the recording of these meetings from the morning section to this hour. So we're going to share the recording. We're going to share the presentations of the slides that the facilitators used in the course of their presentation as well. So I want to believe that, all of these principles and all of the things we are learning, we're going to apply them in our businesses, and we'll keep sharing all the testimonies. So thank you. I'm sure Faye and Chukwuebuka would address us on the chat in the WhatsApp group later, since they're not here to do that. So thank you, everyone.
Yeah, please, I'm having issues downloading the Zoom recording, please. Is there a way we can download it to our phones?
Yeah, because the link is actually there for you to download. We made it downloadable because they're actually very heavy. We tried downloading and then uploading to Google Drive. It was virtually like impossible. It took like, it took like 3 hours to say it was uploading, and at the end of the day, it said uploading failed. We tried some, but the files are heavy. So that's why I always send you the link and made them downloadable. So once you're able to,
I can't really put. I don't know how to download on Zoom. That's it. Maybe
No.
maybe someone
You know
has
what? No, but when you get the link, just click on the link.
You will see download.
Okay. You see the download button to your
at the right, I think. Yeah, at the right side.
Just click on the download. It automatically downloads. It will take a while, but to download to your whatever device you're using, whether it's your phone or your laptop or whatever, it will download to it.
Or you can just play it on the go.
I'll prefer to download because.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay.
So just an additional question. I wanted to know if there is a duration that the link will be up for, or do we have access to it for a while? Just in case I'm not able to download right away.
Okay, all the links will be up until they'll all be up until the end of the session, and even for some time. So don't worry. So even if you can't download now, they will still be up until the next session, hopefully. So don't worry, you're fine. You're good. You have ample time to download. Yes.
Hello.
Hi, Larry.
Okay. I wanted to suggest maybe someone can download the file and probably convert it and compress the size, then re-upload it again. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yes, please do it for us.
You want to set me?
Larry has suggested
something.
I
are trying to set me up.
Anybody can take that up. Anyone can take that up. All right. No problem. So I'm sure they've heard you. I'm sure everyone heard you. So anybody that can help with that can also help, and then share with the group. It's a lost squad group, so anything is possible.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other question, comments? Anybody wants to ask a question? Or you have a comment?
Sorry, Osama, I was just going to ask. I don't have the link.
For what?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Which link? The link to what? Okay. The link to what?
Hello.
Audio.
The link of last week recordings. I don't have the links at all.
You'll get it on the group.
It's on the group. Can somebody please reshare? Just, I know so
On the
many
group
messages
chat?
have. Yes, it's on the group chat. It's been shared on the group chat.
I've been there. I don't have it.
Can someone please just help?
Sorry, can't hear you.
Some of us are just joining the group chat, so we won't see it.
No worry, we're going to
We just
reshare.
joined the group chat, so I don't have it.
Okay, ladies, not to worry. We will send everything. We will send the link. We will send the slides. We will send everything you want. Just let us know. We will send.
Okay.
Okay.
You welcome.
Yes, we have everything as many times as possible. We'll keep resending. We got your back.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Any other comments, question before we officially close the class for today? It's been 4 hours of God's goodness and graciousness. Okay. Okay. No other question, no other comments.
No other comments.
Turn on our videos and say hello to everyone so that.
Yes, say hello to ourselves. Love ourselves.
Let's say hello. Just call somebody and just say hello. Hello, Omolade. So you turn on your videos. Hello, Mary.
Yeah. So
hello,
Mary.
Hello.
Yes, hello, Dewumi.
Oh, come on. Hello, Adebayo. How you doing?
Fine.
Waju, how you doing?
Hello,
Hi, everyone. Hi, Choma. Hi.
Hello, everybody.
Adejoke.
Obina,
how are you?
everybody.
Very well, thank you.
How are you?
Hello, everybody.
See and meet some of you virtually.
I have a name to
Sharing the love in the
Larry
group.
Obafemi.
Solid.
Hello. Hi, Chama.
I see your thumbs up.
Hi, Chama.
Hi, Miss
Mr.
Lee,
Victor, I
NS.
am the Oracle.
Enjoy yourself. Love you.
Hi, Adewumi.
Bye.
Hi, thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful week
I
ahead.
want to see our class captain.
Yeah, where's the class captain, though?
They will introduce themselves very well.
Your class captain had an exam today. She had an exam
Oh,
to
okay.
write.
Oh, the assistant.
Assistant ran away. Assistant was
Don't worry.
They will introduce themselves with your pictures on the group.
She wants to make us lunch. She wants to make us lunch. So we'll be back on the
Okay, everyone.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you. Bye, Adewumi.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.